Drivers, start your engines!
Be plenty of carnage, so full head on them, wound up. Yeehaw, boys. Holy. It's a junkyard. There's too much time hitting people. Chill, second. No gas, gotta hang off here. Don't overdrive. Just let me do my job 10 times. I don't care if I wreck the whole field. I'm over him. He's just a moron. That was an absolute bull. Not clear. Awesome. I tell you, Mama ain't raised no. What the f*** are you doing out here? People are saying, just racing like idiots. I don't care. Just let me drive. What is he doing? This is embarrassing. What a clown show.
Did you ever think you would see that?
How the f*** did that just happen? Holy cow! IBM, go!
Hello, everyone. I'm a little cricket here. Hello, everyone. Welcome to NWP tonight here on Danny B Talks. Hope you guys are having a fantastic Wednesday. We've made it halfway through what some would call the most important racing weekend of the year. The Indy 500 and the Coke 600 all happening in the same weekend. 1,100 miles of just great racing action. And am I mistaken? There's no F1 this weekend now, right?
They're in Canada between the two races.
They're no longer the grand spectacle of waking up in Monaco anymore.
It's not Motorsports Christmas anymore. It's like I don't know. I don't know.
One Grinch.
But we are here to break down what many people feel like, and I think Chase Elliott probably said it best in an interview I think I saw from Peter Strada. He said it was the least all-star feeling all-star race that he's ever been around, and I think a lot of people leaving this weekend kind of all agree. Like, this racing at Dover is something that we don't want to see go away per se, but this just doesn't feel like the right place for an all-star race in the future after this weekend is my takeaway from it. I don't really know how you guys feel about that, but I'm pretty satisfied of this being a one and done all-star race in my opinion. Denny Hamlin did get the win. I think he even spoke. I think he even kind of spoke after race that he wasn't too impressed by having the win, and then he might have said it was like meaningless BS or something like that. That might have been I don't remember what the exact quote was. He said, he basically along those lines said it didn't really matter too much. I feel like.
Well, the race was running broad daylight. It was about as bright as Jarrett's beardless face is reflecting the light. Before we dive into this, what did Minnieberg say when she saw that you'd shaved Jarrett?
Just like sort of looked at me for about 20 minutes with one of those what kind of faces, but like I was well, wrist chopped her hair off down to here, like not fully to the shoulders, like still a little longer than mine, but and like she freaked for like 2 days, and then I take off my defining feature and she's just like, oh, okay.
What about you, Dad?
Well, it probably helped that I walked into the room when it was still dark, and so like my voice was there. But yeah. And then real quick, before we do fully jump into that, I saw Project 91 3 minutes ago tweeted out a little promo of like Justin Marks saying, "Don't forget about Project 91." So that I don't think we'll have anything more tonight on that, but that's something to watch. Looking forward.
Good note, good detail. But yeah, sorry, Danny, you did a great job leading us in there. I didn't mean to sidetrack.
And then we derailed it totally.
Well, I wanted to bring up the beat
somehow. It's what we do here in NWP. We give you guys like 5 minutes of actual racing, and then who wants to talk about fried chicken?
No fried chicken tonight. Not for now. Not in the first half, at least. But I was trying to tie in the clean shaven Jarrett with the bright and sunny Dover, which yes, was not an all-star race vibe. I agree with pretty much everyone who said it. It felt like a normal points race. I mean, from the start of segment 1 to the finale of segment 3, actual runtime was nearly 4 hours. It was one of the longest running races of the year. That's not an all-star race. It's not. It should have just been a points race. If it had been a points race, there would have been some really intriguing storylines with some of the drivers who struggled, others who finished top 5, top 10, but it wasn't. Denny Hamlin gets the win, and that's, I guess that was the one thing we probably could have predicted coming in. He's been so good at Dover the last few years. $1 million. I don't know. $1 million doesn't hit the same, doesn't ring the same as it did when it debuted, I don't know, 30 years ago. When did they first, I should have looked this up. When was the first year of the $1 million All-Star race prize? Do you know that, Jarrett?
2002, 3 or 4, somewhere in that range. Because I know when Junior won his, it was like 500,000 or something like that.
So it was in the 2000s. Okay. I thought it might have been the late 90s, but okay. So it was in the 2000s. And yeah, it still just doesn't hit the same. I mean, we can do the inflation calculator.
The early 90s, actually. According to, I looked up when was first $1 million All-Star race. It says the first NASCAR All-Star race with a $1 million prize was held on May 22nd, 1992.
92? That was, I think it was 2002. If that's the AI looking it up, I got it wrong. Because I know it wasn't that early.
Maybe that was the first All-Star race was 92, right? So maybe
because it was the Winston during the day. That was one hot night. That was the first night race, this race was the first one since 1991 to not be a night race, which me, I'm more Sunday afternoon guy. This is the one race that needs to be a night race. I'm sorry. It has to be a night race.
And they made
it just doesn't feel right not being a night race. And I think I heard from a few drivers like Bubba Wallace. They asked where does it need to be, and he just said Charlotte. And I think at this point, just going back to Charlotte under the lights, that just makes more sense to me.
I think it should be a Bowman Gray, and then they can do whatever they want with the Clash. I think a Bowman Gray All-Star race.
That would work too. I'd be happy.
I think that you get some real interesting
something in the Carolinas. They're close to home, Like
I would have been cool with just keeping it North Wilkesboro, man. I felt like that was the vibe. I understand people wanted it to be a points race. I get it. I'm excited for that race when it comes around here in a couple months, but I thought that was a great all-star venue too. So I would go Bowman Gray, keep it simple, but we'll see.
Ooh, I like this idea. Should be $1 million a segment. Can you imagine the mad? Okay, so like $1 million might not hit the same way anymore. That's what it costs to drive from like Chicago to Nashville, tanks of gas price, But can you imagine the absolute tomfoolery of like 3 segments going for $1 million, and then like the winner gets like 15 million, some just astronomical number. We got to keep hyperinflation going here.
Yeah. I think I love this idea. This is the first I've seen it, but I think even just 1 million a segment, the opportunity to sweep and get 3 million, I think that's realistic, because everyone's like, make it 5 million. I don't know if NASCAR wants to do that. 3 million feels more realistic, and I like the idea of having multiple payouts during the race, so you get multiple like clutch moments, tense moments, guys doing silly shit. I kind of like that idea, Duke Chronic. That's one of the better ideas I've heard.
So I've kind of subscribed more to the All-Star Week idea, right? And it's that the All-Star race is part of like a bigger thing. These exhibition races can kind of, build out. So like I had the idea of this, right? We do Tuesday through Sunday of Coke 600 week. Tuesday is the Hall of Fame induction. So it's not lost in January. Preseason Thunder is coming back. That's going to take, no pun intended, the thunder of the headlines away. Wednesday is the qualifying day. We do all-star qualifying with the pit crew challenge, 600 qualifying under the lights like we do with the Daytona 500. All-star race Thursday night, open all-star race. And then, of course, it goes the way the rest of the weekend goes. I say, though, make it exclusive, right? I think you should have your winners since the last all-star race, the winners in the last 10 years of the all-star race. I think bring that part back. I'm okay with that. 1 and 2 in the open and the fan vote. That would get us, if my math is serving me right, I believe that would get us 19 in the all-star race. It's exclusive. You still have, I believe, 20 racing in the open. If you don't have any open cars come in, which I would assume you would, like I think we need to like add some kind of like pizzazz back to it, if you will, or some kind of like fun aspect with it. Exclusive, make it important, add to it, to everything, and have everybody either in Charlotte or Bowman Gray. I think you could do either way because it's close. Keep it close to home. That way you don't have to travel much in the industry. Like that would be my pitch at this point. And then maybe like you do the Hall of Fame voting during speed weeks or something, by the way. That way or you do it during like the summer Daytona week. Like you do it in big important weeks when everybody's watching. That way we're not like just being like, oh yeah, by the way, January, we're going to find out in May. We just found out the Hall of Fame class we'll talk about later. By the way, try and remember in 7.5 months, we're going to be inducting them. Try to remember that.
There's quite the gap. I like a lot of what you said. I think that was the one like consensus I got, other than it needs to be a night race, was that the Open should return. I think when they first announced, hey, everyone starts the race, and yeah, it's like the race doesn't really begin until segment 3, but like everyone like you're trying to mix and match too many things at once. The Open was always a great show. Desperate drivers who don't win much. Obviously, it's why they're in the Open race, going for it. A chance at a trophy. It's easy to follow. Okay, first and second transfer in. It's easy to follow. Everyone can follow that. Trying to calculate average finishes. Fox did an okay job of putting that up in the lower right to kind of remind you, hey, here, like Zilich is the lowest combined average. Bowman, like they did a decent job helping you follow along at home, but it's still more complicated than just, okay, top 2 in the Open, get in. Start at the back, see what they can do. It just, I think, go back to basics, go back to the Carolinas. The midweek race idea you just said, Jarrett, I like it in theory. I also think the Saturday night the week before is okay as well. But
that's cool too.
Yeah, either way, it needs to do a better job of serving the Coke 600. Back to basics again. Like the Clash was there to promote the Daytona 500, promote the sport in a big way before the launch of the new season. I think the All-Star race should in some ways launch into the Coke 600. 600 and the 500, probably your 2 biggest races of the year. So you want to amp them up as much as you possibly can.
That's why I said last week, like my big thing is the Clash in just about every way has taken the All-Star races purpose. Yeah. And if we're going to have exhibition races, I'm fine if it goes away. I'm fine if it stays. But if we're going to have it, it should serve a bigger purpose. What purpose did this race really serve other than, hey, you want to have the feeling of a points race without any of the stakes of a points race and none of the stakes of an All-Star race? Like, because the racing itself, I thought was pretty good for Dover standards.
And it was best on the long runs, which is why, fortunately, they didn't gimmick it up so much to where there was like 10 lap restarts every other minute. But, the long runs were better. And so imagine if this was a 400 lap. Would it be? Yeah, I guess they'd make it. Would they make it? Do they usually do 400 laps at Dover? It seems like a lot.
Yeah, they used to do 500 back in the day when it was asphalt.
400. I guess that'd be 400 miles, 500 miles. 400 laps at Dover, long runs, track widening out, tires became an issue. You could tell some teams were pushing it. Like that would have made for an even better show. So yeah,
props to NASCAR.
Points race.
Props to NASCAR and SMI though. We all kind of questioned, I think rightfully so, the whole resin idea. It, especially in the main 2 events, the All-Star race and the O'Reilly race, like it paid off. The groove was really wide.
It was not that real thick, very tacky kind of PJ1 like we've known to. I don't want to say know and love, but that's the only word that I guess I can use.
Stained literally the racetrack.
Yeah. It worked at Pocono for 1 year, and that's about all I can think of.
It was definitely better taste than it is for other tracks, I feel like.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah. I thought the race, like the end of the O'Reilly race, we'll talk about in a bit, where like they were going all the way to the wall. I can't think in recent memory a Dover race where the groove widened out that much. I can think of them where they like diamond the corner and maybe got a high entry and a high exit. I can't think of what like Corey Day did of basically rim riding it maybe 3 inches from the wall at Dover, and it looked and raced badass. And it did the same thing in this race too.
Yeah, at the end, Denny didn't run it all the way up to the wall, but like that final run, he loses the lead to Briscoe, and then immediately it's just like middle lane. Like Briscoe was on the bottom, Ham was able to run the middle, and then he started moving up a little further. And by the time he was up in that 3rd lane, had enough grip, he built a huge run, and that's how he was able to get next to Briscoe and make the pass. Like that's textbook how you pass in NASCAR is you put it where they ain't, you build momentum, tires wear out, your handling sticks around, and you get the position. And it was great. It was just really good, solid racing. Just wish it was a points race. If this was a points race, the Jeff Gluck poll would have been flipped. And I think we'll look at the iceberg poll. I bet it would have been let's just say it would have probably been a positive score as opposed to the very negative score that it turned out to be.
Yeah. I mean, and the one other thing on a positive side, props to the Dover crowd. Now I know that like people will be like, oh, there were empty seats and all that, but like I try to, again, very rough math, not accurate probably to the T, but I try to like roughly see like what percentage of the stands look full, and then like take that and multiply that percentage mark by the seating capacity. There was probably about 40,000 that were there. I mean, there was almost double what North Wilkesboro gets at that race. The main grandstand was full, and I was surprised how much the corners actually filled out compared to a lot of times too.
And it felt like I noticed as the race went on, by the end, they had thinned out a little. And I think that might have been the result of, again, another flaw of this format of, Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson. I mean, really didn't even get a chance to compete in the main race. Bubba Wallace had damage. Kyle Busch had damage. Ryan Blaney had damage. Chastain, was it Ross? Ross was out, I think, early. Gosh.
To an extent, like, think of it like you're going to a football game, and then like in the first quarter, your whole team has actually just went back to the bus and the game's just over for you. Like it would feel the same way if you're a fan of one of those drivers. You're like, what do I do here?
It'd be like going to a Patriots Colts game in the mid 2000s. And like in the first 10 minutes of the game, Tom Brady and Peyton Manning tear their ACLs. And we're like, well, I don't want to be here for Matt Castle and, random quarterback to get you Andrew Luck. I want to see Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. Like that's how it probably was.
Yeah, and my point, I didn't mean it to make it sound like I was discouraging a fickle Dover crowd. I was actually more pointing out that it looked thinner at the end, but to your point, Jared, at the start of the race, I was impressed with how the corners had seemingly filled in. Like I thought it might have even been more than 40. I don't know exactly what Dover's capacity is now though, so it's hard to say. But it was
55,000.
It was comparable. I went back and watched some of last year's footage from their points race, and it was like in the ballpark. It wasn't. I don't think they had a huge drop off by losing a points race. I hope they get a points race back.
I think now, granted, again, self-reporting, take it with the grains of salt that entails, but I think they did say they outsold last year's points race. Really? That was in July.
Yeah, they looked similar on TV. So that's why, to your point, like good that they turned out. I hope they're given a points race. Maybe not in the dead heat of July, but there's only so many weekends that are free, I suppose.
I'm glad they did also kind of confirm that. Not kind of. I mean, they said it on radio. NASCAR wanted Fox to push it that Dover's getting a points race next year. I mean, I'm going to be honest. If they're going to Bowman Gray and that's a NASCAR run track, and we're talking about Chicago coming back with the San Diego date, there's got to be one date that SMI would get back from ISC, more than likely, because they're keeping the Clash. That's probably where the Chicagoland date is going, if I had to guess. Because, like, I know today Dale Jr., Steve Letarte, and Adam Alexander kind of confirmed they're not going to have two Chicago races next year anyway. So it's probably where the Chicagoland race will go in 27.
So Chicagoland is going to be one and done this year, it sounds like.
More than likely. That's what like a lot of people have talked about at this point. But like, at least on the positive front, at least Dover gets a deserved points race back on that side of it. So, and they deserve it.
Yeah. I think NASCAR's roots are in the Southeast, but the Northeast has lost a lot of dates in recent years. They've lost one of their Poconos, one of their New Hampshires, one of their Dovers, 1.5 of their Dovers, really. So, they need to keep those core tracks on the schedule in a points race, hopefully in a good spot. Real quick before we move on, we glossed over Denny Hamlin and the winner of the race, but this was his third straight Dover win. I feel like once the early crashes happened, when we had the Priest hit and that took out a bunch of contenders, then we had the Riley Herbst spin that took out a bunch of contenders, it kind of felt like it was Denny's race to lose. I mean, yeah, Chase Briscoe, Tyler Reddick were still alive. Connor Zilic had a really nice run, but I mean, were there anybody that stood out to you guys? Anyone that jumped off the page? Eric Jones third. Was there anyone that impressed you this weekend?
I think if Zilic doesn't have the penalty, he's in contention for the win.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Austin Dillon getting a top 5, that was impressive.
Yeah. I had one question, and I'm wondering if there was a rule that Fox just didn't bring up with it. What was stopping a team from like pulling into the garage and just working on their car for 2 segments and then coming out for the final one and just
I mean, for
cheating it
real,
up.
yeah. Like if you one of those that you're guaranteed to be in that main race.
Yeah, like what stopped like I don't know Kyle Busch
I mean,
from just pulling it in and doing that.
I mean, I guess it'd be you'd start 25th probably, which I mean, track position's important. It's not everything. And if you are able to cheat your car up a little bit, you can probably overcome
So
that in 200 laps.
we
But you still got to pass post race. NASCAR is not afraid to fail, guys. They've done it in the past. They failed first and second place in a race before. Total chaos. So
But-
you know,
guys could have been using this as a glorified like happy hour practice session, basically.
Who's to say they didn't too? I mean, what do you got to lose? Oh no, I got disqualified from third in the All-Star race, but at least I learned this for next time. Like,
Mm-hmm.
do you think they would have handed out points penalties if that had happened this week, or because it's not a points race, they would have just hit you with a fine or a,
I think they would just find you money.
I mean,
I don't know.
do we even bother finding unless they're one of the like ones that actually won a decent part of the prize? Like, do you even bother finding them? Like, oh, you got caught cheating, running 9th in the All-Star race. That's a $50,000 fine for something that nobody's gonna like. The post-race inspection this week was so much quicker than most weeks. Like I was
was it?
I finished up my stream, and within like 15 minutes, post-race inspection was already done, when usually it takes an extra hour or two. And I'm just like, they just wanted to get the hell out of Dodge at that point.
Yeah,
But
I didn't know that. That maybe you might be right.
What you guys think of Fox this year?
Don't get me
sums
going,
it
Jared.
up.
I've had an irritating day today. I don't need this right now. I'm
It's
kind of
always good to see them at the beginning when they're back, but then by the end of it, you're reminded of why you hate their broadcast now.
I mean,
at least there's no
I thought they were better.
cartoons.
I thought they were better than last year, but that's not a high bar to hit. Like, you could trip over that bar and technically be better.
I thought the graphics package, like Danny said, was better.
Side by side, they had way more side by side this year.
Side by side commercials, 99% of the time, very good. Absolutely. I thought the booth was just as bad, if not worse, because I think Mike Joy, this was the first year where I really felt like he slipped. And I hate to say it. I really don't want to pile on anyone here. Dude's a legend, but him waving the green flag maybe should have been him waving the checkered flag on his Hall of Fame caliber career. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I didn't write these down. Like, he slipped up a couple times. He talked about the championship 4 at one point, which isn't a thing.
He did, yeah.
He's just a little, he loves to ramble and rant about that ethanol bio Sunoco fuel. Like, bro,
I think that was like a random paid sponsor plug. That sounded so weird the way it come out of nowhere.
They probably are. It's probably the same as like One to Go sponsored by Credit One. It's probably the same deal, but it's like, goodness gracious, it's a mouthful. I feel like he goes the extra mile. It's just I'm nitpicking, but it is like he used to be the one part of these broadcasts holding the show together, and now he's unraveling just a little to the point where I'm like, I just want a fresh reboot with all new talent. Honestly, even the graphics were better. They still look cheap in my opinion.
I actually thought they looked pretty good. I mean, they were colorful. You could read them, and you had normal pictures. I thought I say the problem this year for me was that, like, the Mike Joy side of it, he started the year better. He started with energy, and you could tell he was getting worn down.
Whoa, Hocevar! He just took off. He's flying to the moon.
I will take him screaming over Hocevar running over a dragonfly rather than them being like, oh, there's a wreck. Like, but
right.
The whole problem with the booth is just there's no chemistry. Like, people tune into us all, every week. We all have chemistry. We know each other. We work well together. We've worked almost every week for almost 10 years. Like, these guys, they just do not work. Kevin Harvick somehow has gotten worse with experience. He's great as a host. He's great in pre-race, but he's just bland. Clint Boyer is playing a character. He's trying to be Darrell Waltrip meets Clint Boyer. And then we talked about Mike, and it's just like, we need to scrub that whole part of it between the production and the booth. I think that fixes it, because the people on pit road are doing great.
The thing is, like, if we push Mike Joy out, I know that his replacement is likely coming from pit road,
This one got me.
That's a great comment from Snappy. He says Harvick is terrible. He's a color guy who's all gray. Yeah, no, he is. He's just flat. I was rewatching. I was sitting on the couch with Amelia, and we were watching, like, I don't remember why, just a few clips of some old races, and DW came over. DW was doing the color commentating, and I'm just sitting there. I sat back on the couch and just was like, that's so much. Like, he was talking about nothing. He was just butting in to say, like, oh, they might have to pit in 30 laps. And it just, holy cow. It was like, I was instantly more engaged. It had so much more personality. He sounded engaged. And the problem is, I feel like between the Fox truck booth and their cup booth, they often sound disengaged from what's happening on the racetrack. And it's just, I don't know. I think we've said this before, but Fox treats it like a Sunday drive, and that works
rigid.
for some audiences, but it drives me insane.
That's my part with the production. It's rigid. Like, how many times I could probably count on both hands how many times during the broadcast or during practice or qualifying this weekend, Larry Mack was about to go in depth about something, and they'd cut off to like the Wendy's fresh food of the week segment about, what's his name? Blah, 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 million letters, the Hawaiian dude on that one team. And then Clint comes back, man, Larry, I know you were getting to that, but that guy had a lot of letters in his name. Like, and the thing is, like, we've seen Clint Boyer before being in the Fox booth. Like, he's a character, he's fun, but like, Fox just like, you have to be a character. Like Michael Waltrip. Look at Michael Waltrip in like 2005, and he's a character. But like in the sense of like he has personality, but then you look at him now and it's just, you can tell it's an act. And it's like, we don't need to, like, these guys have personality. They're fun. We enjoy listening to them. We don't need them to be fake to us.
If you ever have a scanner at a racetrack, try to find and it's in the time where Fox is doing it. Try to find how to get onto Fox's internal radio communication. Listen to them. Because when they go to commercial, these guys become whole other people when they get into producer modes. Even Boyer's like, guys, we need to be doing a better job of doing this, that.
Well, and that's what made it so funny to me when Pete Pistone and Dale Jr. threw some barbs at each other on X. And Pete Pistone and Denny Hamlin are like, stop complaining about the booth being this way and the broadcast and all this stuff. And then Dale Jr. shoots back and is like, can you imagine the 79 Daytona 500, if they're looking at a screen and not looking out the window? You wouldn't have seen what happened. And that's actually something that they teach broadcasters now. If they're like on location, whether racing, football, whatever, say what's on screen, we'll tell you what to talk about. Not look out the window, and if you see something, we'll cut to it. And that seems so backwards to me, but Fox definitely has seemed like it this year. Sorry, I could get more rants about this. I should probably
again got to be careful. Like, be better at picking out what's going to be on screen for them, and don't be like the 22 500 whenever it was that Harrison Burton flipped and no one knew about it for a long time.
But that's my biggest. Well, that's my biggest gripe. I like the booth. The booth, I think at its core, they just don't have great chemistry. I think Kevin Harvick's much better suited on his podcast. The one he does with Buxton now, it's great. Got hot takes. He's firm. He takes a hard line stance. He's happy, in quotes, Harvick again, and it's pretty entertaining, I think. But when he brings that same lack of energy to the booth during a real live race, it just doesn't hit the same. So the booth is one thing, but my bigger gripe with Fox this year is the broader production. I mean, the Watkins Glen race was the most glaring example of just all of and I know it's a road course, it's tough, and Fox doesn't usually cover Watkins Glen, so maybe they're a little rusty. I get all that, but they missed so much in that race, especially towards the end. It was inexcusable how many of pretty much all the highlights I had to find on Twitter and not on the cable channel that I paid for. So
Cody Ware's car is hanging out of a tree like a tornado hit it, and they're like, something happened to Cody Ware. He has a little bit of damage.
We found out about it the next week. I think Mike Joe even mentioned, something during the broadcast this week. He mentioned, when Cody Ware crashed last week, and I'm like, the audacity of Fox to acknowledge the Cody Ware wreck a week after it. Like I wouldn't even, if I was them, I wouldn't even have brought it up. I would, because imagine if you're someone who's not on social media, you're probably watching that. Like, did he just say Cody Ware wrecked last week? First time hearing of it.
The chat just keeps spamming the word tens.
That was
the best camera work that Fox has had since COVID. was a
Give him a
tent.
sports Emmy for it. Give him another Emmy for the tent camera work. Give him another Emmy.
And then give him an Emmy for
kill me with
Dude,
that every time.
time I watch a race with headphones on, I'm just like, who is whistling?
Yeah.
Anyway, hey, so we go to the points report, or is it the same as last week?
It's same as last week. We
It
did a
It
week
felt like
off.
a points race. It felt like a points race.
Yeah.
Oh, what we got up
but
next?
since it's not really changing, we can talk about the TV ratings for this one.
Go for it. Ugh.
Cup race scored a 1.04 rating and 1.8 million viewers. This rating is down 6% and viewership is down 8%. The O'Reilly Series race scored 1.051 million viewers, which is up 4% from the same weekend last year. The trucks scored an atrocious 443,000 viewers.
Slipped in the word atrocious. It was at like 4 o'clock on a Friday, to be fair. I mean, that's
Yeah,
a tough
yeah.
time spot.
Who in their right mind is like, man, instead of like double headering it and we just have them on at like noon Saturday, let's do a track with no lights as everyone's getting off of work on Friday, because they'll totally want to watch.
Yeah.
Like,
Why? When did they? Wait, you didn't mention it. They don't do double headers anymore.
Like Atlanta, they do it maybe, and then I think they do Atlanta at the start of the year, and then Lime Rock is usually during Atlanta weekend, but it's not like it's the same track the way that same with St. Pete.
That's what I'm saying. I felt like for a couple of years there, it was very common, not very, but at least a handful of times a year, you'd have O'Reilly and trucks on the same day. One
I
at
guess we
noon
get
and one at 4.
More often not we get an ARCA doubleheader or something, but
yeah, I guess every now and then you get ARCA. That's true. But yeah, I feel like there used to be more Saturday doubleheaders, and maybe that was bad for ratings, tough on logistics. Now there's more practice and qualifying than there was a few years ago, just a little bit more, but there is more. So maybe they can't squeeze it all into the weekend. But I just wonder what happened, because this might have been a good week to do that but they had All-Star qualifying and stuff. So I guess you're kind of stuck running at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock on a Friday. But yeah, that's just a rough time slot for anyone.
Yeah. On that note, there's an interesting note here Jarrett has in here. NASCAR says that they're actually going to switch back to big panel data. So they're going to change up the way that we actually get our reports from this. Switching away from, what is it, the Nielsen ratings that we currently kind of go off of?
So, yeah, the Nielsen ones have like a new metric they've been using since last September or so. And then now it's like they're wanting to go back to the way Nielsen did it before, because NASCAR was one of the few sports that didn't increase in ratings. Like, everyone's having increases, and it's largely been attributed to this new way of doing it. And their argument is that this new way of doing it oversamples urban areas and city areas and undersamples rural areas, which NASCAR has much more of a presence in. So I can understand that side of it. And Nielsen even has said that they're going to be looking at how to more fine tune this, because some of these ratings decreases just don't make sense compared to other increases. But I'm not going to lie. Like, when I saw them doing this, all I could think of was like this picture I'm trying to pull up here, where it's like, do you see this triangle?
Yes.
Well, now with our new way of doing things, it actually looks like this with the points up that we wanted. Like, that's what all it really feels like to me at this point, is we're just going to try. And what if we inverted the numbers? So instead of 1.8 million, we actually got 8.1 million this past week. Like, it just feels desperate.
Show me that triangle the way you originally had it, Jarrett. Let me see it one more time.
The point is down. It looks like it's pointing down.
Okay. Now barely turn your phone a little bit, like kind of angle it. It's getting better. It's getting better. Oh, there it is.
Whoa! Oh, nope, it's gone.
You just got rid of it altogether.
There we go. But that, I mean, they can do that all they want, I don't think any of the advertisers are really going to care as long as it's the way that Nielsen does it, because that's the gold standard. But that'll be interesting to see NASCAR, I guess, wage a data war.
Very, very true. Just opening up my window, kind of verify. Jarrett, we are finally getting some rain around here.
Hey, how about that? I've been waiting all day for it.
We have been in a drought in general in the state of Tennessee, and the lake levels have been reflecting that, and it's been a lot lower lakes than it should be this time of year.
Yeah, it has. You know what data we don't fudge? The poll.
Shockingly, only 9,000 people voted on this week's poll. I feel like that's some low numbers.
I think that's the first one that's not double digit, like 10,000 or more since like 2021 or 2. It's like crazy amount of time.
Well, of the 9,000, 6% of people said this is a great race. 25% said this is a good race, meaning this race had a 31% net positivity. On that same note, 31% said it was average. So the same amount of people that said it was a good race was the same amount of people who said this was an average race. But beating them both, this race is overwhelmingly a negative race. 38% of people said this was a negative race.
I have a few other things to add to it. This was 7th of 8 polled All-Star races. It was only above Texas 2022, and it's much closer than I think people would feel comfortable with. 8th out of 10 polled Dover races, only over 2019 and 2020 in the 550 package era. And 14th of 14 polled 2026 races. This was the most hated race of the year by far. And it was all-time the 8th highest negative voted race. I keep track, by the way, of positive and negative for it too. So
that's crazy. I mean, it was not a good all-star race, but it was actually a good race. I do feel like people have gone a little overboard with their hatred on some of these polls and surveys and such, but I get where it's coming from. It's the format, it's the branding. Fun fact, that 2022 Texas All-Star race, I was there. Y'all know my friend Mark. He was in my wedding. That was his first race. I took him to that race. That was his first, and to this day, his only in-person NASCAR. He enjoyed it. He didn't understand why I was rage tweeting at the end about the window net thing. He was like, "Why are you so upset?" I'm like, "This is such bullshit." Like, you have no idea how crazy this is.
He's like, "I'm having a great time." You're like, "This is horse crap."
Nowhere to go
stewing in my seat.
Seriously, you set the tone perfect for him. Be like, you could literally watch any other race this year, and it'll be better than what you watch today. Like,
didn't you basically do that for Riss? You let her see Pocono as her first race?
She what was her first race she watched fully with me was I think it was Sunday or Saturday. It was the one Denny won that weekend of the Pocono doubleheader during COVID with a 550 package. And she's like, "This is really interesting. I really like it." And I'm like, "If you like this, let me tell you about this place, Daytona, that I'm going to take you to in August." Especially when it was the giant ass spoiler package that we all enjoyed. I think she went with me to like 3 or 4 straight super speedway races, and she's like, "I'm hooked." Like, yeah, nice. This is pretty good. But anyway, the poll. First comments from Timothy. Is it positive, negative, or meme?
Timothy, I feel like that's a name we don't often see. I'm gonna go negative on this one.
Ding dong, the fox is dead.
It's kind of positive,
but also kind of negative. Like, they hate Fox, so
Fox has kind of become a meme at this point. So maybe it's all of them.
It's a multiple emotion meme.
Triple threat comment there from Timothy.
It's layered. Top comment was from Combat Racer. Getting rid of the open race is such a terrible idea. The open cars took out all of the contenders before the main even started. Yeah,
I mean, it's true for real though. Like, I wouldn't mind a scenario where we got, Daniel Suarez, Cole Custer, the legacy cars all battling, for an open win,
Triple P Production says a non-points race that was nearly 4 hours long.
Facts.
Okay, yeah, for real. I left Lake Chickamauga around the time this race was starting, and it's like a 3-hour drive back home, and it was wrapping up right when I was getting to the driveway.
That's insane. Let's see. Next one is from Noah. Is Denny Hamlin in the championship for? Oh, Mike, it might be time, man.
Playoffs?
Wow.
What talk about playoffs?
I didn't even see that comment before this, but that was exactly what I said.
Yeah,
we had the same thought.
Well, like the post race, like the people are like, "What do you think?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, championship 4. I mean, you should." And I'm like playing it like straight, and they're like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Guys, I'm joking. Mike wasn't." Gianni says, "So long, cheap fox," and hopefully that includes Jamie in the truck booth. So from what I've heard, probably for most of the rest of the year.
We're gonna put Eric Brennan in there or someone else.
I think Eric Brennan is definitely one. They
what's
talked
that
about
other
before,
guy?
and Brent Stover.
Is that the other guy that's done a couple this year? Or I feel like I've
Yes.
heard him on Arca or something. Okay. He's
Yeah.
fine.
So like there's it's going to be kind of like I want to say more of an even split between them. I had a few people I both had told me, and then I reached out to and talked to about that, and it's like should be a little better for us the rest of the year. A lot of it's because Jamie's going to be going to the IndyCar broadcast probably more, but she kills it with. She's a great pit reporter. Anthony says it was just a normal race, nothing all-star about it except the name. They win millions every week anyway. Maybe not millions, but it's closer.
There are several weeks where there is, at least $1 million on the line, it feels like.
The gutter comment that I picked it simply for the username alone. From user, they ain't taking my guns, says in all caps, why the hell is Ty Dillon and Cody Ware in the All-Star race? They ain't taking my guns. I don't know if you're watching or you're gonna watch, but you win. That was probably the best combo of comment and username of the year. Oh, that is NASCAR right there. Like if you had to guess, like what is a random anonymous username for a NASCAR comment section and podcast? They ain't taking my guns would be in the top 10.
This does feel like an SNL or Talladega Nights bit.
Or a Papa Meat video. Anyway,
you said an SNL or what bit you said?
Talladega Nights.
Well, I'm looking at some Talladega Nights news actually.
What?
Okay,
is that what you sent us?
IGN 2 hours ago. Rev Your Engines, Talladega Nights About a Ricky Bobby is returning to theaters on June 28th, June 30th, and July 1st in honor of the comedy film's 20th anniversary.
Okay.
20.
I was afraid of a sequel.
That's what I was worried about too.
Daytona Days.
No, but watch. They'll test how many people come see this in theaters, and then they'll get an idea.
Is that just what movie theaters are going to become? Let's just re-release all the movies when they were good.
That actually made us money back in the day. Yeah, maybe.
Revenge of the Sith and all these other ones.
I tweeted this the other night, but I went to my local minor league baseball game a week or two ago here in Frisco, the Frisco Rough Riders AA team. And they randomly were doing Talladega Nights night was their theme. And I'm like, what?
I thought it was NASCAR night.
It was just, no, it's Talladega night. I don't know why. We're, 1,000 miles from Talladega, but I was like, okay. And I show up and they had like some dirt racers were out front, had like a winged sprint car and a couple other.
Did
I
people
was like, this is
recognize
sick.
you?
No, of course not. No, they're not around here. But they did have, and I didn't know this until I was in my seat, and they put it up on the big screen. They said, come get your picture with Texas Ranger over in the little bar in left field. And I'm like, huh? And I look, it's the actor who played the little kid.
You're like, I thought Chuck Norris died.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew kid, who I then looked up because my wife was with me. He also played the kid Fregley in the Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie.
No shit, that was him.
Same kid, same guy.
Wow.
Dude's like 30 years old now. Was super chill. Anyway, I met him. He was super chill, super nice. We got a photo with him. Very nice guy. I think his name was Grayson something. I forget.
Grayson Russell. Jake.
Grayson Russell.
Chat.
Very nice guy. He was doing all sorts of fun minor league baseball stuff that night, but it was super random that he happened to be there. So I did get a photo.
So
that was
good
my side tangent.
I think the one who played his brother has not turned out good from what I've last seen.
He turned out more like old Grandpa Bobby in it.
Something like that.
Maybe not alcohol being his vice. What about the other races this weekend?
What about
Wait, I cussed again? I swear. I didn't realize it.
You flip and do it like every week. Just don't realize it.
Yeah, it's just second nature.
At this point, sorry.
It's second nature at this point.
Yeah, that's
Oh God, he died. Oh,
who? Oh no!
Oh damn!
What?
Well, no, I feel like
I don't think I knew that. I knew he was on like getting arrested. I didn't think that happened.
That reminds me of like when I showed up to school one day in high school and everyone's crying and I'm like, what? Why is everyone crying? Someone die or something? They're like, yeah, our English teacher died last night. I'm like, oh crap. I don't know if it's a Lundberg thing or something, but every now and then I put my foot in my mouth and it's some of the funniest damn shit that you'll see. I know I cussed that time. It's funny as hell because it's embarrassing in the moment. You saw how red I got, but then it's just like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I don't know. I don't keep track with, was it Walker? Not Texas Ranger, Walker. I didn't know what Walker did.
So this was the other kid in Talladega Nights. I have not.
I don't know.
That's sad to hear.
R.I.P. I mean,
yeah,
it's a better place. It was a better place to be. The O'Reilly race this past weekend.
Yep.
Corey Day.
That's gonna be on the top 10 list for Cito. Yeah, Corey Day's been killing it, man.
Poor choice of words there, Jared. No.
Oh no! I didn't. This is like the
Corey
Alex Bowman deal all over again.
Yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, Corey Day though. Especially with all the chatter, literally last week, that he could be fast tracked into the Cup Series if circumstances allow. For him to go out there and win that race, run down Justin Allgaier at the end, good stuff. I don't think he'd ever. I believe that was his first race at Dover in anything. And Dover's not an easy track. So
True.
Good for him. Good on Corey Day. Is he Cup Series ready, Danny? Would you put him in the 48?
I mean, I guess I'm gonna have to. I get that bum out of the 48.
Eric is just putting all of our feet to the fire tonight on this one.
Hey, gotta earn your money tonight, boys. This ain't supposed to be easy. No one said it was gonna be easy. I answer the hard questions.
I can't think about Corey Day's future. I'm still flustered at the fact that we didn't know that guy passed away. And then I looked up. Then I looked up when it happened and how it happened. And I feel even worse.
Why are we dwelling on it?
Oh yeah, we should probably move on then. We are obviously uninformed, unfortunately, on this situation.
I'll check IMDb more often. I gotta say, Corey Day though, he is. I'm gonna say a different word this time. He is. He's making a much better case for the 48 at this point. Like, I still think he has a long way to go. I generally, unless you're like Connor Zilic, who's historically good, like the 2 years, just so you can see the progression more, even though it's like basically, day in outer space. It's not night and day. It's day in outer space compared to the O'Reilly car and the next gen car, pun intended on that. He's really damn good. And the adjustments he was making during that run, I mean, he looked as good as Justin Allgaier out there. And I don't know if he gets him without the lap traffic and Justin kind of making a bad move, but I certainly think he has a great shot to. And I don't think I can say that about many other regulars on a regular basis against Justin Allgaier in this series.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely made me question further the other rumors last week that Connor Zilic could go to the 48 if he gets bought out. That could happen as soon as next season. Like, I think Connor Zilic at this point is a more proven all-around driver than Corey Day, no doubt, and he may very well be better, have a higher ceiling, more potential, all that. But Corey Day's pretty damn good himself, and he's been in this Hendrick system for a couple of years now. He's the homegrown prospect, if you will, that Kyle Larson and Jeff Gordon discovered and took a chance on. And at this point, he hasn't given you any reason to doubt his progression. So why, if Connor Zilic was a straight up free agent this season, I'd maybe consider going and getting him. But if you put Connor Zilic in that 48, you're essentially boxing Corey Day out of any Cup Series seat for at least the next 5 years. And I don't know, that just seems, I don't want to call it an overreaction, but that seems bold when, again, you have Corey Day already in your system, progressing and developing nicely. Like, I don't know. I'd be surprised. I think right now the 48, if I had to guess, is between Bowman or Day. And the way people talk about it, it almost sounds like it's Alex Bowman's decision. Like it's more of a, if he retires, Day will get that seat or steps away or wants to go part-time or something. Otherwise, I hope Alex Bowman's in that seat for at least one more year because I still think he has more to prove and is still the best, like right now, guy for that job.
It sounds so weird to think about Alex Bowman possibly retiring. He's only 33 years old, but with the medical conditions, that's the biggest wonder, really.
I've always thought, or I shouldn't say I always thought, I was thinking this week, probably the best option would be, as long as Bowman is all right with it, if he is really like willing to step off or away, is an extension of 1 year and then put Day in like a Spire car or in the alliance with Haas and make that car better, like they did with Christopher Bell in the 95 car a couple years back before he got into the 20. That way you get him the Cup experience. You still have your team that's good, all cohesive and together. But if you can get Connor Zilic, I mean, that is probably a once in a generation talent who has been thrown into, again, an L-shaped learning curve off the deep end, all of those things. And once he gets it, I mean, we saw this past weekend, like he got it and he's putting up laps comparable to Denny Hamlin at arguably Denny's best track. So it's like, if you have that shot to get him, and then in 3 years you have a well-formed Connor Zilic, teammates with Chase Elliott, William Byron, and Kyle Larson, like one of these guys will retire one day, Corey. Like,
yeah.
And it's no disrespect because Corey is great.
If I'm just think about the Bowman situation there, why, in my opinion, why delay the inevitable? If you are in a place where you can sign that 1 year extension, but you know automatically, like, hey, you're gone no matter what happens, why delay it when you could just try to start your way back into whatever your next opportunity is going to be?
You shop yourself. You make, put some good stuff on tape for people. Like,
True,
it's a Hendrick
this year
car.
it's not going to have the point finish he wants, and could at least go for that aspect of it, I guess.
It's a Hendrick car.
It's a Hendrick car. I feel like it's the best. It's one of the best opportunities in all of racing. So I feel like even if you get 1 year, but I do agree with you. It's like if Bowman does sign a 1 year extension, everyone kind of knows it's a 1 year deal. It's almost like a rental. There's not the attachment there. There may not be the cohesion behind the scenes. There might be, you'd be beginning the season as a lame duck, and that can often, impact a season negatively. So I'm with you there. The timing, to steal RCR's line, the timing could not be worse for Hendrick. Fortunately, they do have 2 or 3 pretty good options to choose from, but none of them are exactly perfect. It's not quite the right time for any one of these guys.
I wonder if we could see potentially a situation happen where, HendrickCars.com is currently with, Larson. Could we possibly see Ally decide, hey, we want Larson, and then Hendrick Cars goes to a Corey Day?
Kyle Larson in the Ally car? I don't know. How would Twitter react to that?
You're just gonna have that one clip of him in 2020 spliced with Ally, we have your back. That's all. I'm telling you, the memes write themselves. Instagram will have a field day. It'll be in all my meme, even my non-NASCAR meme chats will have it. Kind of going back to the O'Reilly race, though. Wasn't much love between Raja and Jesse Love again. They rekindled their little rivalry, and Raja was running, I would say, the best race he's ran so far this year, and he got too aggressive and threw it away. I put it all on Raja. I know some were trying to make excuses, but he overshot it in there. He was given plenty of room. And do you guys see that picture after the race of Jesse Love and Raja?
The one where they're doing the meme of the hand on the shoulder.
I have the recreation of it, actually, if you would like, right here. That was what it looked like. And I don't blame Jesse at all, man, because he did everything right and got wrecked. Nearly wrecked.
Hold up, champ. You ain't walking away from this. We're going to talk about this.
Yeah. No, and this ain't the first time they've gotten together. And I know I'm with you. Raja had a great race going. I was disappointed to see it go up in smoke. And not only that he kind of spun himself. He still finished like 12th, but not only that he like spun out a couple times, but that he took Jesse Love with him, and that of course is going to sparkle like that. That just it sucks. And Raja's comments after the race about how, it feels like he's racing for his life. He's got a lot to prove. He admits he's been too aggressive, but he feels like he's racing for his future. Like I just hope, I hate to hear him put that much pressure on himself, especially when he's in that car. Cause when you're in that car, you kind of got to let the car do some of the work, and you're going to run top 5 most weeks unless you make any big mistakes. And he just kind of needs to take those. Those are good days right now for Raja, and just threw it away on Saturday, unfortunately.
It's just so funny because I feel like if Raja was a little bit more advanced at this stage in his career, we're having the conversations about Day possibly in the 48. We could be having those same conversations about Raja right now that we're having about Corey Day if things were just a little bit different. Instead, I feel like Raja, timing-wise, lines him up to possibly take whatever Spire car that Kyle Busch might take once Kyle Busch is done driving.
Which wouldn't be a bad ride. Guess for what we're thinking of what he'd do. But yeah, I mean, it was not a good showing for him.
Raja, and I love Raja. We love Raja on this show. We've all known him for 7 years now or something like that. Like we've known him since he was just getting into a real race car for the first time. But Raja right now is like, I feel like he's closer to that Sam Mayer, Sheldon Creed category of driver who's very good in the O'Reilly series, can win some races, but might ultimately get passed up for these top cup seats by the Ziliches and the Jesse Loves and so on. I hope that's not the case. I think, and we talked about this, I think on the show a week or two ago, if you had told me 5 or 6 years ago, Raja Karuth would be in a Hendrick sponsored JRM car, I would have been like, whoa,
that's amazing.
Because he was so new, so raw. His first couple of years in trucks when he was in that GMS 24 were, I was sitting there like, man, the kid's got potential, but he's got a lot to learn, a lot of growing to do. And he's improved. He's slowly but steadily improved. It's amazing he's gotten to this point. If he can get to the next level, I mean, that's going to just speak volumes to his work ethic. So I hope he gets it done. Just got to keep learning.
I still remember Raja driving the number 6 Sunoco late model. It had the 6 on the back of the car.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's right.
Cool. Other than the number placement, the car looked kind of cool.
But I think this is a learning experience. I mean, I get that he's racing for his career in a lot of ways, and he wasn't wrong on that. He's 23, so it's not like he's not too old. Like if he was like in his late 20s, I'd be like, okay, like yeah, that's probably your shot. But he's got time. He's got people to believe in him. I think he's 95% is usually at Dover better than 110%. Yeah. And he was trying to go 110% and he just stepped over the line. Oh God. Man, what did we say last week, by the way, about Parker Retzlaff when we talked about him? About like the point side of things. If he
I said he was the first guy potentially out if anyone was to fall out. I did say that.
Fine.
You did. But like, didn't we say too, if he just doesn't have some catastrophic DNF and like finish last or something, he should be fine.
He's still 11th. Yeah. Okay. I'm looking at it. Yeah. He's plus 24. He's still good. He's okay.
A ton.
Yeah. So he's plus 24. Coming into this weekend, he was plus 58.
Yeah. Well, that does suck. Yeah.
And Brent Cruz is out now.
Yeah, because Brent was in, and now,
he got caught up in it too, and he was my pick to win that race. I was pretty frustrated. Pretty aggravated with that. Who got loose under Brent Cruz again? Wasn't it somebody got into him? I forget now. How did Brent Cruz slap the wall? I remember it. He slapped the wall harder than pretty hard. And then when I saw him still running like top 15, I was shocked. I can't believe he was still running like top 20 with that. Sieg, damn it, Sieg. I knew it was. Yeah, that's right.
And then it was just. But I mean, you look at the gaps here, and it's just getting closer all over again. And Sieg was the one who got the biggest gain. He's minus 22 now.
You bastard, Ryan Sieg. That's okay. I'm just mad because he was my pick, and I was gonna have a good points day. Anyway,
but all right. I thought that the O'Reilly race it sounded like a broken record. Yeah, it was good. It was really fun.
Yep. Truck race.
Speaking of broken records, Kyle Busch, Unk still got it. Straight domination from a truck. We haven't seen that in a little bit.
Yeah, that was vintage.
Destroyed the field all day from practice to the race itself. There was no doubt he was the guy to beat.
See what happens when you don't make him drive the crappy, sloppy, slow 07?
Yeah. Spire's kind of like downsized their truck program a bit this year, and they all look better. The 7 and the 77 look really strong. I mean, usually it's Cup guys driving, I guess, but still, that's better than they did last year. That's for sure.
What win was it?
69.
69. Him saying that, it's like you could tell that was the first time he's genuinely felt joy in a while. Like,
yeah, it was a little cringe, but I'll let him have it. He needs it. He needs this.
Yeah. That wasn't the only thing that happened in the truck race.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about the inevitable. I feel like the last several years of the career of Natalie Decker have been leading to this boiling point where finally things were just going to go too far. And to my knowledge, there's not been any kind of like penalties, like actions detrimental to stock car racing, et cetera, for what she said over the radio. But it just was so much. I know there's been drivers who, get overwhelmed a little bit on the radio here and there, but this one just kind of really like pushed it a little bit, in my opinion.
It was sad.
I just
and to listen to.
It's like, and I think they said something about they're going to have Derek drive her husband's going to start driving that truck a little bit in her place. Cause I don't know. I don't know if they just heated a moment saying that, or if they're serious on doing that, but it's just, we saw Natalie Decker, have full-time opportunities. It didn't go anywhere, kind of briefly, went away. She became a mom, and it's getting to the point where, don't want to just tell you what to do, Natalie, but it seems like maybe your calling's, to beat a mom. I don't know. I don't know if NASCAR's right for her at this point.
Yeah, I think my takeaway was the initial, and I didn't hear the audio in real time. I saw people on Twitter saying, "Hey, Natalie Decker's blowing up," and then my app was buggy, so I couldn't hear it live. But people posted the clips afterwards, and when I first listened to it, it was kind of like hard to listen to, kind of like Jarrett said. It was just kind of sad, and you don't want to hear someone like she sounded distressed in that moment, and she's driving a fast race truck at a tough track around other people. Like that's a dangerous situation. She sounded overwhelmed, flustered. So yeah. It's not fun to listen to someone who's clearly in distress. But after she pulled it, I mean, essentially what she did, she got a penalty, was upset about the penalty, and then it sounded like she was more just stressed about the situation. Essentially, she quit mid-race, and then as she was pulling into the garage, voiced concern over how people on social media were going to react to this. And I'm honestly putting it nicely. If you've heard the clip, it was a little worse than that, I'd say. No, my reaction was the same. At first, it was, hey, I feel some sympathy here for here's someone who's been through a lot. She definitely deals with more blowback on social media than the average struggling driver. She's not a very good driver and not a very good NASCAR driver. At least we all know that for a fact. She's had her issues this year. The ARCA brakes moment at Daytona in December. I think she's had her low lights. She's not very good. We dunk on Chris Wright on this show. We've dunked on Quinn Houff, but Natalie Decker, if you go on social media, the criticism's always a little ugly or it crosses the line more quickly. And so I understand, I empathize, I sympathize with her having to deal with that. But then after you take a step back from that, after you process that for a moment, I think I agree with Danny. It's this soundbite, this, rage quit mid-race, I think is the latest signal that, hey, it's time to probably step away and take an extended break certainly from O'Reilly and Truck Series racing. ARCA is the place to go learn, feel things out, see if this is for you. ARCA,
she's also been around the sport so long, she shouldn't have to still be feeling it out.
I 100% agree with you, but I'm not here to tell her what she should or shouldn't do. I'm saying what if I was in her shoes or if I was the people around her in her ear, I think I would encourage her to take a step back from the
Like,
biggest stage. It just sounds like it's too toxic now, and she's not disconnected enough from the hate to really deal with it. So I would just take a step back from the public eye, which is
not
O'Reilly and Truck Series racing.
not to clown on them too much. You mentioned the name Quinn Half. It makes me think, okay, at least Quinn Half, at least Drew Dollar, when Heat
Drew Dollar.
When Heat got to those guys, and things weren't looking bright for the future of the racing career, they took the hint and moved on.
Yeah.
Well, for me, it's like I think two sides to look at it with. Like for her as a person, like I want her to do what's best for her. And right now, getting in a race car is not doing that. She's she's not in the right headspace, and that presents danger to anyone else out there, because if she's not in the right headspace, thinking about social media or whatever, like that's just not going to be conducive to a good situation for anybody. And the last thing we want is for her puttering around 30 miles an hour off the pace, not focused, and somebody gets involved. And that's the driver's side. But I mean, yeah, there's been a lot of hate her way. A lot of it's for being a driver. A lot of it she's brought on herself, and she made the decision to be there. On the other hand, too, I think she had a kid, like less than a year ago.
I think it was last year sometime. Yeah,
like,
I don't know.
As guys, we're not going to at all understand what postpartum is like. And
right.
I talked to my wife about this. She said it's okay to talk about it. Like it rocks women. And that might be part of it too. It's something that, again, I sympathize the best I can with. As a driver, though, I don't have that sympathy. I'm with Kevin Harvick on this. As a driver, I don't have it at all. She needs to get off the track. She needs to, if she's going to race, be a race car driver. We had this whole conversation about Cletus McFarland about whether or not he's going to be a race car driver. Well, he's doubled down, tripled down, spending a bunch of money, getting a bunch of seat time. If she is serious about this, she needs to go all in on it, not race 3 times and then defer to Derek. Like that, and that's what she did over the radio. And I don't like having somebody out there who multiple times has had, let's call it what it is, a mental breakdown over the radio, blaming everybody else for decisions she made, a mistake she made. And it's dangerous. I don't like that. And we said the same things about Chris Wright last year, and he took a step back to the Truck Series, and he's not good by any means, but he's not a weapon anymore.
We're not seeing as many issues out of him this year, I feel like.
No. I mean, like we brought up like the meme of him, the talent thing at Texas, but like how many times has Chris Wright made a complete ass out of himself in trucks this year? He took the step back. I kind of agree with Kenny Wallace, like race at the short tracks in Wisconsin where she was pretty good growing up, race at Hickory, race, in late models. There's no shame in racing in the area you need. There's no shame in that. So like I just want her to do what's best for her, because ultimately that'll probably be what's best for everybody else around her. And that's kind of my whole take on it.
Well, here's the only thing I'll add is the money, and she makes these part-time starts because she has a sponsor. And so the money is there for her to do O'Reilly or trucks. My question, well, obviously our advice is for her is to step away from that and just accept that that's not for her right now. Take some time away, disconnect from social media. But say she does want to come back and race later this year. She sounded like she wants to race O'Reilly. She likes the O'Reilly series director more than the Truck Series director, apparently. Should NASCAR let her? Should NASCAR approve her? I don't think so either. I think after this latest incident, I think NASCAR does have to, whatever their version of like revoking a license is.
She disparage the competition directors.
Well, they do that every week. Everyone, that's not the problem. I think it's just the everything else. I think if I'm NASCAR, I would not approve her for O'Reilly right now.
The other side of it too, though, is it's not fair, but we're in a male dominated sport, and it's a horrible tone to set for women that are on their way up, like Jade Avedizian, Isabella Robusto, and you name what girl might come up in the next 10, 20 years. Let's throw and blame at everybody else. So she made the mistake that got the penalty and the subsequent penalty after that. And this has been multiple times where the buck doesn't stop at her. It's always somebody else's fault. It's somebody else's fault that she's having these issues with the series director. Somebody else's fault that she took 20 business days to crash into Sam Mayer at Daytona. It's somebody else's fault that she crashed off the front of a wrecker at Bristol. Like, we can keep naming these as we go. At the end of the day, she's the common denominator here. And it's not, and people are going to use this, and you see it on social media. It's like, this is why women shouldn't be racing and all this other stuff. While you have women tearing it up in other racing series on the way up, like I talked about Isabella Robusto, Jade Avedizian, just to name a few, just the whole thing. And she needs to take a step back. What do you want to actually do? Do you want to be a social media influencer, or do you want to be a race car driver? Because you can do both, but you can't do both well.
Yeah, I know. I'm glad you brought that up at the end because we can move on. But I think that is she's crossed to the point where I don't think her racing is actually, propelling women in racing forward.
Not beneficial for anyone at this point.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because I agree. There are so many great women racers, and you see it on Twitter. Everyone wants to compare every woman in NASCAR to Danica. And it's unfair, but that's people
Danica
are shallow. So people are shallow, so they're going to make the easy comparison. And it's like now people are going to compare the next woman to Natalie Decker, and that's not fair to the next woman coming up the ranks. That's hopefully a little bit better.
I'd almost think it'd be interested if one of the bigger podcasts got Danica to come on and get her to be brutally honest about, some of this, honestly.
I'm not sure I'm super interested in anything, Danica. It's just
Lizard.
She's on Fox this week for Indy, so maybe we will get her hot takes on.
I'm sure everyone is just chippy and great about that happening.
Ask her her opinion on the Steelers quarterback's final season confirmed.
Oh man, that was a long Dover weekend, man.
It was. And on that note, it's time for a quick super chat stage break.
Spencer
Purcell kicking us off being a member for 59 months. Time to go up around the bend with Prime.
You can hear it echoing in the distance.
We just both started bobbing our heads at like the same beats per minute.
Going up around the bend.
I went for a run after my post-race stream because it was still sunny out because it was early in the day, and that was the first song that came on my shuffle, and I was like, this is just a sign.
Good deal.
Joshua Boston kicking us with a $5. Appreciate that. No disrespect towards Jeff Burton, but when you look at their careers, Greg Biff was superior, not to mention the humanitarian efforts that Biff made. Yeah, we're going to talk about our thoughts on that a little bit later in the show, but definitely interested. I felt like there were some elements. Jeff had better stats. There were some elements that Greg Biff had better stats. I think it just came down to a couple of other factors, and maybe just didn't want to feel like they were rushing into it due to the circumstances. I don't really know what the thought process was for the overall voters' thoughts on this, but in the end, that was Kevin Harvick and Jeff Burton were the two selected. Oddly enough, two former RCR drivers together. Joshua Boston again with $10. NASCAR should never use this year's All-Star race format ever again. I'd be willing to go to Dover a bit more, Grace, and not a 2 out of 10 were it a points-paying event and not exhibition. Once again, with $2 from Joshua Boston. Final 2026 Groovy Gauge score for Fox, 63.21% D.
Yeah, the racing's a lot of just kind of average to decent racing this year so far.
Joshua Boston, $10. Appreciate that. Hopefully the prime races can be better and I can be more positive with them since I actually can watch and see the action for myself rather than only hearing it on the radio like most of the season. Napa Racing fan, appreciate $2 from me. If your car talked, it'd tell you to get progressive.
Is his name Kit?
Joshua Boston with another $3. And finally, I hope #Larson can win this weekend. He might. He's got a good shot. Now that he got the Indy 500 to deal with, he's got a good shot, I feel like.
Yeah, the weight of the world is off his shoulders this time around.
Bailey Reichert, appreciate the $4.99 from you. Man, if Dover was for points, Chase Briscoe would be in the playoffs over SVG after back-to-back top fives. Oh, well. Also, talk about this later. If I had just waited 30 seconds in my fishing tournament, I'd have made money. Instead, I made $0. So, Jeffrey King, appreciate the $1.99. This might be Elliot's best chance at 600 since 22.
I'd say so. How good he was at Texas, Vegas. Yeah.
True. TVP 8377. Appreciate that. Watching this and the finale of Survivor 50. I'm going to have a headache. You hang in there.
Damn. Around.
Calypso, $2. When will I be inducted into Hall of Fame? The Weather Hall of Fame, I guess.
But it's about 3.5 minutes.
Okay. 2 more then, since they're still on my screen. Eric Andrade, appreciate $2. Crazy, no NWP intro when I was waiting for. Huh. And finally, Ross Crashstein, appreciate being a member for 9 months. NASCAR saw All-Star and made it all and no star.
Yeah, that's funny too. Emphasis on the all, not on the star. Damn.
Actually, we'll go one more just because it's another member chat. JQ's 98, appreciate being a member for 8 months. All-Star be at Charlotte Motor Speedway as IndyCar spends 2+ weeks at IMS. Yeah, that's true. You spend 2 weeks at one track while IndyCar is 2 weeks at one track. Yeah. And I guess with that being said, I said earlier, Jarrett, we've been getting some much needed rain. We've been in a big drought here. I'm actually looking at the radar right now, and I actually see a little bit of lightning on the radar nearby.
Oh my God. Yeah, it is the lightning round time.
I did hear some thunder earlier in the show. It kind of made me look when I heard it.
So we hit the 1,000 mark, and we'll let you know when we'll get probably the week of whenever we do something special on the channel, whether live stream or something else for you guys. We'll spring it on y'all about that. But we hit 1,000, so thank you guys so much. At NWP Clips, it's down below in the description where we will connect every single episode to. And then NWP 400 for later on. If you want to sponsor, be a partner in that event, weekly podcast guest at gmail.com. It's in August. Finalized date will be given in the coming weeks. Pocono has already sold out their infield camping. They did this like Thursday last week, so they're killing it. They've had over 100,000 people at that race the last, I think, 5 or 6 years, maybe 4 or 5 years, ever since COVID, basically. So good on them for that one. Again, not good. AM Racing has ceased operations. It's not surprising, but still sucks. Papa Meat, if you know the YouTuber Meat Canyon, has a second channel, Papa Meat, that talks about different topics in comedic ways. Did a NASCAR video. I as somebody who watches his channel on a regular basis, I will just let you know now. It is a sense of humor thing. Don't get too upset about little things that might be wrong or whatever. He does this with every video, and you can tell he actually genuinely did his research on it and watched NASCAR back in the day. Because he knew, and you know what's funny is he talked about like everything from like the stuff we do know to like the Chase Elliott like wolf drawing thing he did a couple years ago that I completely memory hold. So interesting stuff there. We got Marty Smith doing the TNT NASCAR broadcasts as well. Apparently we got something else jumping in. Bussin' with the Boys is doing a racing podcast. So cool. That's awesome. Racing with the boys. Pikes Peak is closing, by the way. So, Not awesome. That honestly is really not awesome. And then let me see if I still have it on here talking about Nashville week coming up. Little cool thing that's being done that week. I got to actually take everything off the screen so you guys can actually see it.
It's like looking through the window. Oh, there we go.
Almost sale, basically.
There we go. So the Victory Junction Gears and Guitars is Friday, the same day as the truck race in Nashville. For anybody who's going to be in town, car show, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Got Stenhouse going to be there. Think Kyle Petty for sure. I think, and Richard Petty. Concert also 6 to 9. Nice. That night as well. You got all the acts right there. I wish I could zoom in, but it's not letting me. But it's gonna be a lot of fun. So I'm probably gonna be at least early in the day. I don't know about that night. I'll be, got the kiddo, but
of course, it's all there to promote and raise money for Victory Junction, of course, which is,
yes,
the camp the Petties founded. So,
amen.
Good deal.
It's a good cause.
Yeah. And then we will be live, not on Danny's channel.
We're coming back.
We're coming back today. We'll be back next week, the 27th, on Eric's channel, and I think it finally saved this time. Yeah. Oh, so that'll be a lot of fun. Plenty to talk about when it comes to the 600, heading into Nashville week, heading into June. Within about a week after that. Damn.
I love how the positioning of that Eric sticker went perfectly right over him.
I know. We lined that up exactly right.
That's what we do on the lightning round.
Fun times. I guess we'll get into a little bit of headlines now.
Yeah. What do we got on tap for headlines?
A lot of silly season stuff from The Athletic and from Fox Sports. We can just touch on. We can kind of blow through some of these. I know John Hunter Nemechek, it was announced via sponsor press release yesterday. It sounds like he will be back in the 42.
I'm not shocked. Are you guys?
If there was either of the drivers, I would have thought he would be the one leaving. So I guess tiny bit, but
I just couldn't figure out what he'd be going for,
O'Reilly, probably.
Wow.
Okay. I don't know what he would get in Cup that's much better than Legacy.
Yeah, I mean, I think he and Jones, they obviously took a step up last year. They're kind of maintaining that this year. Jones was top 5 at Dover. That was pretty cool. That we can kind of tie this into The Athletic reported that Herbst is the leading candidate for their 3rd seat, which would free up a 2311 spot for Heim. So that, to me, that's like the least messy way to do it. Just move Riley over to the team that's up and coming.
Him with money in Toyota, yeah.
Yes, and then you give Corey the competitive Cup seat that he's earned at this point. I think that's the least messy way to do it. I think it makes sense on all fronts. We talked a little about the Zilich 48 stuff. I don't know if we want to even dive back into the future of the 48. But
I think we kind of beat that horse a little bit.
I know I'm kind of taking the lead here, and I'm sorry. I'll stop after this. But
you're good. This is fine.
RFK Racing, Brad Keselowski, I was in one of the interviews where he was like, hey, we need a charter. We're going to try and do everything we can to get a charter. We don't know who's selling a charter. But according to these latest reports, they may be open to driving or running a 3rd car without a charter next year if they have to. But I think it's dependent on if Kroger resigns. And I think in a Bianchi's report, he mentioned that Kroger's deal expires this year and they're actively trying to negotiate an extension. So if Kroger stays on, that's a huge blue chip sponsor. They sponsor almost every race in some capacity. Then maybe RFK's like, fine, we can run a 3rd car, eat the money, we'll lose some money, whatever, but we have the sponsorship income to supplement that, and that would allow Priest to keep his seat. If that doesn't happen, if Kroger leaves for whatever reason and they can't find a replacement, then I don't know what happens to Ryan Priest, but hopefully all 3 of those guys come back.
Do you see when they're talking about the financials of it? It's not like a huge gap. Like I think it's like a little under 5 million would be the gap between an open car and a chartered entry of like difference. Whereas unless you want to, what's $5 million 1 year if unless you want to spend like $100 million, like what is it really that much in comparison to spending that much on a charter?
Yeah, no, and I saw that too and had the exact same thought. I'm like, oh, that's not as big a gap as I would have thought. And I'd have to reread it because maybe I misinterpreted it, because that seems too close. Because what we've been led to believe, and maybe this was just under the old charter agreement, not the newest one, but under the old agreement, it sounded like open teams were getting pennies. So if the fall off's really not that steep now under the new agreement, that's a little surprising and definitely would make it easier for RFK to make this decision. But but I don't know that I fully believe. Like, I don't know, because like we and all the
Oh,
old, under
Dale
the old
Jr.
system.
talked about it too.
Like, I missed that. Did he talk about the payout?
Today,
Like,
yeah, they had a show with him, Letarte, and Adam Alexander that was pretty
Yeah.
good to listen to,
I-
and
yeah,
they talked
yeah.
about it too.
Did he agree that it's like, oh yeah, running as an open car is not as crazy as it was a few years ago, or did
He was kind of saying about that much, like, you know, the whole, you know, you spend $100 million, it's 20 years of difference with the open car, because $5 million, if that's the difference of it, and it's like, I mean, the only issue is if anything ever goes wrong in qualifying and there's more than 40 cars, then
sure he
he's
could
not in
miss
the
that?
field.
That's the big thing, is he could miss Daytona, and that's obviously such a big key moment. Yeah, if the difference is really not that much, then I think it's likely they bring all 3 drivers back, sponsor or no sponsor.
Hell
But if
yeah.
they get that sponsor re-signed, then hopefully
Definitely
stays on the rails.
Well, I don't think there's any team that's given up a charter, that none that makes sense or is signaled that way yet.
I feel like the one that maybe made sense, and there was no like smoke here, it just felt like maybe Hayek Motorsports, because like part of their ownership group left a couple of years ago. They seem to have they seem to be unsponsored some weeks. They don't run very well. I feel like a lot of people thought maybe the 47, and then Stenhouse resigned. So, oh, never mind. I guess they're sticking around. So yeah, at this point, it's like, I don't know. There would have to be a curveball for someone to let go of a charter at this point.
We got more.
Yeah, this one we could talk a little more about. It sounds like Kyle Busch and Richard Childress Racing are likely to stay together beyond this year. That's again according to Jordan Bianchi.
Me. I can't imagine why that would need to continue, honestly.
What's a better option for him?
Well, that's the thing, is both Bianchi and Bob Hockris both admitted that, oh, well, you know, there is a chance he could go to Spire. And it's like, well, okay, well, if you're Kyle Busch, why would you not want to go to Spire? You know, why would you, if you're Kyle Busch, not do everything in your power to appeal to the bosses at Spire Motorsports? I guess it just comes down to, is Spire happy with their lineup? They're obviously happy with Hocevar. So far, they seem happy with Suarez. You know, McDowell, we don't know what his contract situation is. Maybe complicated to get out of that. I don't know.
There's 2 things with the McDowell thing. So he tried signaling that he has like this long-term deal set up. Jordan Bianchi on the teardown was basically like, yeah, that's not the case. Like,
I caught that too. Yeah.
And I almost took that as Michael McDowell feels a little bit of the heat, because let's be honest, he has underperformed. Yeah. Like, he might be, he's what? Like, where's he in points again?
21st,
like
I think.
21st. And that's after Watkins got, damn. He's been not good.
Him leaving front row was one of the worst things he could have done, in my opinion.
Well, I think he got paid. So that's not bad. He did get paid. I agree. My thing is Kyle and Michael McDowell are the same age, essentially, a few months apart. They're the same age. If you're Spire and you're like, we want a veteran to kind of like, you know, be our baseline, help build our team. If you could go get Kyle Busch, why would you not go get Kyle Busch instead of Michael McDowell? And so I think if they end up sticking with McDowell, I guess it just speaks to, you know, maybe how valuable they feel his leadership is behind the scenes. Maybe they look at Kyle Busch and say, oh, this guy's a little too volatile. I mean, he did just, you know, rage against Riley Herbst one week and then John Hunter the next. Like, maybe they're like, oh, this guy, he's great, but he kind of does things his way. We don't know if we want to do, like, we kind of like the Spire's a team that's always taken big risks, at least in the Jeff Dickerson, you know, the last few years. They take a lot of big risks. The risk would be going and getting Kyle Busch and replacing Michael McDowell. That feels like the Spire thing to do, but maybe they won't do it. So we'll see.
Would you think maybe it's a calculated, like, conservative play? Like, we're in this lawsuit, there's a lot of stuff swirling around the team, we just need to keep stuff stable. Maybe that's the idea?
I think that may be. I just am saying that's very unspire-like, because even during this lawsuit, Jeff Dickerson's out here tweeting stuff. He's going on Gluck's show and ranting about the lawsuit for 5 minutes. Like, when have they ever played it safe? That's my point, is it just feels very unspire-like for them to play it safe, but maybe they will. And McDowell, he did have a really good run at Watkins Glen. Like, he is close to winning a road course race, and we'll see. Maybe he improves on the ovals. But if you have the option to go get Kyle Busch, I feel like you got to do it if you can. So we'll see.
Well, now they did say too, Jesse Love would be to the 8 if Kyle Busch left, which I think is a smart play of the 2 drivers. But like, Jesse Love, I don't think is going to get his full potential at RCR. Like, it's great to get into the Cup Series, but I mean, this is a 20th place team on most weeks. Yeah, they're doing a little bit better now, and maybe they'll do better, longer term. But I feel like his talent would be better served at Aspire. Like, would he be the one that they take the shot of? The Jesse Love to the 71?
Can we see Jesse Love and Downforce Danny in the Cup Series together? Danny Stockman, because they seem to have a good relationship. That might be reason enough to stay. I don't know.
Maybe. Here's an idea what to do with Michael McDowell. Lane Riggs get a promotion up to the O'Reilly Series or something like that with who knows who, but he gets a promotion. And then Michael McDowell go drive the 34 truck in the Truck Series.
That'd be kind of fun. I think he'd clean up in that series. I do think it's funny. The McDowell, we're debating McDowell and Busch here. I was at that Texas race in 2011 when Michael McDowell drove the 18 car because Kyle Busch got suspended. It's so weird that now we're talking about, should Spire take McDowell or Busch, when McDowell used to be Kyle Busch's reserve driver.
He was he was a start and park driver back then. Like,
it's just funny.
God, that's 15 years ago, though. A lot's changed.
Yeah, a lot has changed. One driver's stock has fallen, the other has risen, I think we can say.
So, real quick, Bianchi also said there were some other names to watch. Josh Berry, Austin Cindric, Sheldon Creed, Ty Dillon, front row in total, colleague, Sam Mayer, and Chandler Smith as some people to watch. Nothing concrete, but their names are thrown around out there. The Austin Cindric one interests me because I was throwing around about people going to the 2, and if Cindric's like maybe moving to the 21 or something. Just saying, it might be possible. Like Alex Bowman to the 2 or Chastain.
Of all the potential options, I like the idea of Bowman possibly to the 2.
I don't think Bowman's better than Cindric, though, at this point. I don't know. Austin Cindric's been pretty good for the last month and a half. I mean, I don't know.
I think the issue, too, is just, like, I think Bowman at his best is better, but I can't trust Bowman to stay in the car.
Yeah.
And I hate it for him.
I don't know that I trust that Hendrick is giving him the full effort either.
I mean, he's probably getting the fourth best parts and pieces that come through their quality control. There's probably some truth to that. Yeah, I don't know. I think Austin Cindric has done enough the first 3 months of the season for me to say he's a Cup guy. You know, is he the best guy for the 2? Probably not. Could he go to the Wood Brothers like y'all were saying? Maybe. I am kind of burned out on Josh Berry, and like he's done better than Harrison Burton in that seat, but it's just like, I don't know. They peaked at Las Vegas last March, over a year ago, and I know Josh Berry, very popular, affiliated with Dale Jr., great short track, great Cars Tour driver, all that's late models. He was a legend. I get all that, but I've not been that impressed with his NASCAR results. Even in the O'Reilly series, he didn't do anything in O'Reilly that made me go, whoa, look at this guy. Like, he was always just, oh yeah, pretty good. Like, I think the most impressive thing he ever did was sub for Michael Annett at Vegas and win in the 1 car. That was the one thing where I went, whoa, okay, because we haven't seen Michael Annett do that.
I'm glad he did manage to get a Cup Series win at some point in his career.
Yes.
It feels like, okay, you accomplished all that I'd ever expected or even hoped for you.
Yeah, I know. I think that he even made it to the Cup Series and won a race far exceeds expectations. My point is simply he could be a guy who, I mean, how old is Josh Berry? 33-ish. He could take over the 7 when Allgaier eventually hangs it up and be the next Allgaier.
He'll be 36 in October.
He's that old? All right, never mind. Maybe he could be Allgaier for 4 or 5 years.
He's an older guy. I mean, he spent a lot. Like the story is he spent years like racing, himself, but then he got connected to Dale Jr. for iRacing, and then got options to get out of like smaller equipment into JRM equipment.
The Dale Jr. Cloud House will take you far.
Cloud House. He's a good driver. I'm not that. I'm just saying, like, I just think maybe his ceiling is just an Allgaier. And that's why I was making that comparison, which is very good. We borderline Hall of Famer, as we discussed in the past.
Speaking of Hall of Famers in the Hall of Fame, an image has come out.
Yeah.
An image has come out from the NASCAR Hall of Fame and I guess it's something that seems interactive. Like you can see various different tracks in the NASCAR like system. Road America being one of them, and there's a section where it says next race 2027 is listed on that image. We don't have that picture available, do we, Jared, by chance?
Not on me. It's not a really that great picture either.
Either way, and some people can't tell if this is legitimate, doctored through AI. Really not exactly sure the full backstory on this image, but I did see it floating around. And if it is, true, next race 2027, this now places another wrinkle into the schedule. Is this a makeup for some of those people who would want who be sad that Chicagoland's not going to be back on the schedule, but they're getting a Road America back as an option on the schedule?
I don't think it'll be a cup race because it doesn't. I don't think it necessarily.
True, it just said next race. It didn't specify what.
What if it's the same weekend as Chicago, but it's like the Truck Series goes up there? Which I would want the O'Reilly Series back because personally, the Truck Series is a cluster truck at road courses. But like that could be an option.
They're not going to do Chicago with just Cup, right? Or would they do that?
Well, I would assume they do Cup and O'Reilly like they're doing for Chicagoland, like they did in previous years. But maybe it could just be a standalone. Maybe one of the summer off week, the O'Reilly Series races, because I want to say this is the first year since like that Olympic year during COVID that we don't have like any racing at all on the off week.
Does all three series race at Michigan? I can't remember, because if so, that way can be good to take a standalone series up there too.
No, O'Reilly doesn't race at Michigan. They moved that because of the Mexico race last year and travel and costs.
I'd be about happy if O'Reilly's not going to go race Michigan. I'd be happy with that weekend O'Reilly going to Road America. Honestly,
right across the lake.
I love the idea. I actually think it would make sense to not stagger it too close to the Chicago weekends, but I do love the idea of an O'Reilly truck weekend at Road America. I think Road America, really cool track, loyal audience, great fan base. I don't want another a cup road race, because we already got Glen, Sonoma, Chicago, probably Coda. I feel like 4 in the era of Shane Van Gisbergen and stage breaks is probably the max for Cup right now. But if they want to bring the O'Reilly or Truck Series or do Trucks and ARCA or something like that, that would be awesome, because Road America, absolutely. They ripped it from the schedule too quickly. It needed to continue to have a presence on one of the national series.
They needed to just use the area that cut through under the cautions. Like we walked right past where that was. If they just had the area to cut to pit road under caution, just didn't count those laps, the race wouldn't have felt as long by any means. But I think what killed Road America, I think, was it being on the 4th of July, like the date of the 4th of July. Yeah, nobody's turning on
TV ratings. That was the problem, because the attendance was great and the weather was solid. It was the TV ratings that were in the toilet for those 2 races, unfortunately.
I mean, I'd argue you'd probably get 30,000 more if it were on a weekend that wasn't a holiday weekend, and you'd probably get decent TV ratings if it weren't on that.
Here's an idea. Go ahead and get Road America back in a schedule as some form of standalone O'Reilly race, because I think that would be my preferred series that's going there. If it's just going to be one, lower series, then in 2 years from now, we're going to have an Olympic break, which would at least be better off for the Cup Series and not be racing. But what if during that time period we just have a Sunday O'Reilly race on the CW? They're not going to be showing Olympics, are they?
No, because NBC has that, and that's probably the biggest reason why they.
Why don't we just get them back in? Because give the O'Reilly series a chance to race on a Sunday during that period.
They used to do that. I remember an Iowa race back in the day that did that. I want Road America back. It deserves to at least be on the O'Reilly schedule.
Yeah.
What else we got?
On that note, we can actually talk about the Hall of Fame class has been announced for this coming season, or this coming next induction period, I should say. Kind Kevin Harvick overwhelmingly received 92% of the modern era vote. And that was actually, he became the 5th driver, I want to say, of the available data we have that received 90+% of the vote in the voting for the NASCAR Hall of Fame.
Who are the 8% that didn't vote for Kevin Harvick in the Hall of Fame?
Beats me. I know that list of him becoming the 5th one does not include like Richard Petty, Dale Earnhardt, because I think that was a period when they didn't have this data available.
Yeah, it used to be a different voting format, but like not even Jimmy was unanimous. So there's all these little games. It's, I think it just comes down to, hey, I know Harvick's going to get in, so I want to use my second vote on freaking Randy LaJoy just to maybe get him over the line. I think that's what it comes down to. But yeah, Harvick was the no-brainer. How do y'all feel about Jeff Burton getting in with 32% of the vote?
See, this is
or his name was on 32% of ballots.
Well, seeing such a smaller number makes me feel at least a little bit better. I'm like, okay, it's pretty clear people's minds were very much split on this other one, because 32%, yes, that's the most, but that's not a comfortable number in a voting like this.
Well, I think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. If you look at like especially the top 2 series, we had this whole conversation about counting O'Reilly races in, counting your impact on the sport. I think he deserves to be in. Whether or not it's above Biffle, we can argue that if you want. But I don't like people basically like besmirching his name because they're upset that Greg Biffle didn't get voted in. If anything, Greg Biffle would actually probably be upset that people are using him to badmouth Jeff Burton, who has made a huge impact both in front of the scenes and behind them. So I think he deserves to be in. He wouldn't be my first choice personally, but I do think he should be in. And I think emotion is taking over for a lot of people.
And really, Greg Biffle, we'll just go ahead and get this part out of the way. Next up in the modern era voting, Neil Bonnet is actually 3rd, followed by Randy Dorton. Greg Biffle's actually 5th on the list of percentages here. So, even though, yes, I would have had Kevin Harvick and Greg Biffle barely making the top 5 in this kind of gives an interesting indication of where the voting was for this one.
It definitely suggests they were not swayed by the offseason tragedy, because I think he was 5th on last year's ballot too. So the support for Biffle has probably stayed about the same, has been pretty consistent year to year. And they just don't think that, and I think, if we're comparing resumes, Biffle's got the 2 lower series championships, which do mean a lot. Burton has more cup wins, more O'Reilly wins. I think what put Jeff Burton over the hump was all of his contributions, like Jarrett said, outside of the race car, and still post retirement. He was the head of the driver advisory council for 4 years during an era when they needed better communication from drivers to NASCAR leadership, because that was when the concussions and the next gen were happening. So he was pivotal there. And then obviously now he's still in TV, still with NBC. So I think those impacts, he directly impacted the sport. Greg Biffle, we know about his great humanitarian efforts that he did in North Carolina and Tennessee.
And he was definitely
his impact
back into the NASCAR garage. You were starting to see him a lot more towards the end of his time.
Starting to, for sure. But I think his impact on the industry itself was not that of Jeff Burton's. And that's probably where the difference was there. Go ahead, Jarrett.
I think I said it last week too. What does humanitarian effort have to do with being in the NASCAR Hall of Fame? Like it's the area. I get that, but again, I think he should be in at some point. I'm glad Randy Dorton's actually starting to go up the list a bit more. I've been stumping for him for years, but
he was your pick last week, right? He was your second
mine, yeah. I've been on this crusade for good 2 or 3 years now, but with the Biffle side of it, because it's so prevalent to talk about it, I'm glad that emotion didn't sway things over what people actually were going to vote for.
I think we will not make it to 2030 with Greg Biffle still not in. I think.
No.
Well, We'll see. I won't. Him being fifth still, and actually, I think he lost a spot because if you think about it, he was fifth last year, but like Ricky Rudd got in, so he should have jumped up to like fourth, and then
Which Ricky Rudd was someone that I've been going for a long time. Should have been in a long time ago. So
I think Biffle might get in one of these years. So here's my thing.
It's gonna be hard after next year. Truex, I think, is going to be on the ballot, and he should be in.
Yeah, he should probably get in first try. Yeah, no, I think it's interesting. I don't know how I feel. Like I agree. I think Biffle, I think even Neil Bonnet. I don't know as much about Randy Dorton as Jared does. Big Randy Dorton fan over here on the right side of the screen, it seems. But other guys like Jack Sprague, 3 Truck Series championships. Like if Jack Sprague never gets in, Matt Crafton has no shot, and maybe he shouldn't. But we get to a point where it's like, where is the line going to be for who is and isn't Hall of Fame eligible? And not to bring up the debate we had around O'Reilly wins and championships, a few months ago or a few weeks ago, whenever that was. But I don't want to sound like the bad guy here, but like, I think Biffle is flip a coin. I think Neil Bonnet is flip a coin. And the point I was getting at earlier with Harvick getting over 90% of the votes and then the next best guy only getting 30, like that to me says, oh yeah, Harvick's a clear Hall of Famer, but all these guys, I don't want to say they're replaceable, but they are kind of interchangeable. They're all very good. They all had an impact, but do any of them jump out the way Harvick did, the way Jimmy did and Chad did in their year, the way even Kurt Busch did last season? Do any of them really jump off? And if you're not jumping off the page, are you a Hall of Famer? Like where is the line? Like, I don't know. I don't want to be this snobby elitist that's trying to shut people out of the Hall of Fame. Obviously, I have no right to do that, but I do want to keep the Hall of Fame exclusive. I don't think we should just let any lower series champion, for example, get in the Hall of Fame automatically. There does need to be I think a fairly strict standard. And I'm just not sure how many of these nominees that didn't make it this year, like how many of them really are, when we sit and think about, are worthy of being in the Hall of Fame. I don't know. I don't know how people feel about it.
I like that it's hard to get into the Hall of Fame because these are greats we're talking about. Neil Bonnet is the one that's getting the most overlooked out of all this. I'm seeing some people in the chat talking about that, and it's true. He made a ton of contributions both on the track and after, television side of things too, and he should be in one day, I think. But if this is the line we're talking about, that's a hell of a line, and we had worried about when it was 5 being used every year, and when we're starting to talk about different drivers in like the lower series, which I do think deserve to be represented in. I mean, hell, look at Larry Phillips is in, which I think is a good choice. I think that it's better to have the debate about good, and I won't even say good, great drivers, great contributors into NASCAR getting in or not, rather than saying, well, we're already talking about should Stenhouse be in for 2 Daytona 500s and some O'Reilly championships or Dillon or whoever. Like, instead of it being saturated to the point that we're having it not even be the Hall of Good, it's the Hall of you had a few accomplishments. We're talking about the greatest still. And I mean, here's a question I have. Would Greg Biffle at any point have approached like not even the top 5, but the top 7 or 8 during a decade of his career?
Like, was he at any point for a prolonged period the top 7 or 8 driver in Cup?
Yeah, could you say 7 or 8 guys that raced against him that were better? Because I mean, that was kind of a litmus test with Dale Earnhardt Jr. I personally would put Jr. over Biffle, but I'm biased. But I mean,
I'd put him slightly ahead. I think they're very close, but I would agree. I always thought, when I think of the 2000s, because those Biffle's best years were like 05 to 2012, probably.
Yep.
So that's about 6 or 7 years there. No meme intended. Jeff was probably still better than him at that point. Kenseth was better than him at that point in that span.
Tony
Stewart was better.
Carl Edwards was.
This is Harvick probably. I'd have to look at the exact numbers.
No, not Harvick. Not maybe towards the ending part, but that team wasn't there.
He had 20 plus wins though, didn't he, at that point?
If we're talking 05 to 2012, he had some seasons.
And he had a couple O'Reilly championships in that. He had O'Reilly championships in that span.
If we're counting that, sure, we'll go. I can go Harvick. I will say, just because of his slump, Junior had higher highs at times than Biffle, but way lower lows. So you can debate that side of it. But I mean, Kurt Busch, like you're looking on his own team. He was probably the third or fourth guy.
Jeff Burton. Jeff Burton's success was more in the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Jeff Burton 2000s. At that point. But I mean,
so it's tough. I see what you're saying, though. Yeah,
and we also got to acknowledge too, the 2000s into the 2010s was a murderer's row of a field. Like that was probably the strongest end-to-end fields. You could you can look at higher highs in like the 90s and 80s and back, but when you look at like first to 25th in the points any year, you're looking at people who are really damn good all the way down the list. So like Biffle did race against amazing competition, but so did Jeff Burton. So like I this is the exact conversations they're having, when they're voting and stumping for different people. So I can't say I can't say I'm upset that Burton's in. He wouldn't be my pick. I'd probably put a few of those guys, probably put Neil Bonnet above just for the off track stuff too on top. But then Jeff Burton has the off track. So there you go. Like it really is just, it's a wash. So
yeah. And just trying to move on a little bit here. Not trying to gloss over this too much, but the Pioneer vote really could have gone a lot of different ways. Larry Phillips does get the nod there though this year. Again, not trying to just pass through that real quick, but we also kind of just rambled on that one for a little bit longer. We maybe should have been getting later into the show. But on that note, we've gone over the Hall of Fame. We've gone over reckless speculation and silly season stuff. How about a little bit of fun and prediction stuff?
Yeah, let's have fun. What we got?
Predictions. Each host will make 2 NASCAR, motorsports, or show-related predictions. Predictions are kept track each week in our accountability session. Try to keep our predictions relatively concise and within a few years. Jarrett, what you got up first for this? Eric, you were incorrect saying that the fan vote winner will get a top 15 in the All-Star race.
Of course, I didn't know he would have damage.
Jarrett, you're correct in saying that Corey Day will get 2 or more O'Reilly wins this year.
I said that before he got his first one.
And then me, sadly, I think Kevin Harvick was kind of on the same train as me a little bit. I was wrong, and that Alex Bowman would score a top 5 in the All-Star race at Dover. And this last one I'm really mad about. Danny B will catch at least one 5+ pound bass in the Big Bass Tour this weekend at Lake Chickamauga. Had I just said fish, I would have been correct because I did catch a 6-pound walleye, but that is not the right species of fish. So I was incorrect on that. And I caught a 4-pound smallmouth bass. And I'm even more mad at the situation that I brought it. I fished 3 days, couldn't figure out the largemouth, ran up the river to the Watts Bar Dam and caught a smallmouth up there that was 4 pounds. Went back to where my truck was parked, put my truck in the trailer, and drove into Dayton, Tennessee, where the weigh-in was being held to weigh this one fish. And the rules are for Lake Chickamauga, you can only keep 1 smallmouth per day that is over 16 inches. So I wasted it on this 1 smallmouth, and literally in the 12 to 1 hour, I weighed it in at 1 p.m., and I was thinking I was the last person to weigh it in, and they let 2 more guys go and bumped me out of the top 10. Had I waited 30 seconds for the next hour, I'd have been 8th place. Had the guy I basically begged not to weigh in would have waited, he cost himself $500 by settling for second in that hour. He could have made $1,000 in first in the next hour had he just waited. So I was essentially robbed in the tournament this weekend. And it's cost me more in the prediction standings. Eric, you're leading the prediction standings 58.33%. Jarrett, you're at 53.85%. And I'm at 26.92%. Overall, Jarrett, you're leading us here, 38.6. Eric, 34.96. And I am 31.7 overall.
I feel like Jarrett slipped a little bit. I feel like he used to be up over 40 for a while. Now he's in the high 30s. He's within striking distance.
Yeah, again, over time, the aggregate gets you. So what's your prediction?
First prediction, Connor Zilich, late add to the Truck Series entry list, running all 3 races, will finish the week with 3 top 15 finishes.
Which one's he in the truck race?
77 that he replaced Hocevar.
Yep.
Okay.
Under mysterious circumstance. No, we don't know why. I don't know.
The Coke 600 will score an 86% or higher net positivity on the iceberg pole.
I hope so. We need it.
We do.
The Coke 600 winner this weekend, it will be their first ever Coke 600 win, meaning we're not going to have a repeat winner of this race.
Sweet.
I feel like I've made this prediction before, but I'm going to make it here anyways for this year's race. I believe the Coca-Cola 600 will be won by a Coca-Cola family driver.
I like that.
Which there's some good ones. There's Denny Hamlin. I think Chase Elliott is he still I'll have to double check. We'll have to watch in victory lane when they get out.
Bubba Wallace is back in the Coca-Cola racing.
Bubba Wallace is Coke. I think Logano and Austin Dillon still are. We'll see. But yeah, that's my prediction.
All right. Tyler Reddick will sweep the races at least one track this year.
Oh, like win the second Kansas race because he already won the first?
Or maybe a Charlotte race, maybe Daytona, maybe Atlanta. There's some options there. There's some options.
Okay. True. Go ahead and get the options because I need 2 more wins for prediction.
We can do Charlotte. You can get your 1 win here, get that prediction wrong, and then I get mine right in the chase. What you got?
Carson Hocevar will finish top 5 in the Coke 600.
He was gonna last year.
This year he will.
All right. We got like one more thing, don't we?
Yep, and it involves saying goodbye, chat. It's time for random
Lake
driver.
Speed. Final answer.
Okay, you owe me a point.
No, I do not. You should. Why you
I gave you guys the clues on the driver twice, and you got it wrong again. I didn't even realize I did it. All right, random driver of the week. So I will shoot out a bunch of different random clues to these guys. Danny leading 41-40. Lake Speed. Eric got back on the board after being off for a while. Danny has 3 of the last 5. Brian, Scott, David Ruderman, and Dave Marcus. And I got Buddy Arrington. I stumped him. Let's jump on into it. This random driver dropped out of high school at the age of 16 to go racing. Nothing. No. I would say that would be really sad for somebody. They're like, this is immediately who I think of when it's like a high school dropout.
Thing is, a lot of guys, especially in the early days, dropped out of high school to go racing.
That's
so that
probably
can apply
true.
to a lot of people. It also applies to the modern guys too, I think.
This random driver actually moved to the UK to pursue racing. I love there's a bunch of people saying Dale Earnhardt. I'm like, I don't know about that one.
You don't remember when Dale Earnhardt was in the UK?
Something makes me think Dale Earnhardt wouldn't be the biggest fan of beans on toast. This random driver actually was nearly brought into F1. Let's see. This random driver has been tweeted about never by me, which surprises me, 5 times by Eric, 6 times by Danny.
That's really interesting.
This random driver went to the same high school as Nicole Mansky, who is now known as Nicole Briscoe.
Oh.
This random driver has a DNF rate in Cup at 15.7%.
DNF rate of how much?
15.7%.
It's a little high.
Just a tad. This random driver's lead lap finish rate in Cup was 38.2%.
That's not great.
Not great at all. This random driver actually ran in one of the Toyota Pro Celebrity races.
Is it Scott Speed?
Scott
Ooh.
Speed. It's wrong.
That was a good guess, though. I thought you might have got it.
This random driver drove these numbers. Get your pens and pencils ready to go. 2, 7, 10, 13, 16, 21, 30, 34, 80. The OEMs for this random driver: Chevrolet, Ford, Pontiac, Honda, Ferrari. This random driver has over 1 million followers on Instagram.
Whoa.
This random driver has been ripped multiple times as a bad driver by Eminem.
Oh,
Eminem.
That should give it away.
That probably is a dead giveaway. I'm out of the loop on that one. I probably shouldn't be.
This random driver is incredibly politically active.
Danica Patrick?
Correct.
Wow, that was easier than I thought.
Danica Patrick actually went to the high school that was the rival high school of my high school, Boylan. Hananiga was hers.
You know, I saw the 7 and the 10, and I thought that's Danica. And then you kept going, and I thought, oh, she didn't drive that many numbers in NASCAR. And my dumbass forgot that that's not just NASCAR numbers.
You guys kept saying he, and I'm just like,
well, I literally just missed that because I was like, that's too many numbers. I forgot.
7 and 10 should have gave it away, but like Eric, I didn't think about, what numbers did she drive and other things. But, I kind of forgot the Eminem stuff, but then you said political act. I was like, oh, well, that kind of gives that one away.
Look at the last clue I have. Lizard. I don't have the sounder, right? For some reason, it wouldn't plug in.
I did not know about her moving to the UK or being close to F1. How have you never tweeted about her? I'm shocked.
I just avoid. That's all. One of my clues I was going to give that would have given it away more was that this random driver was an Illinois native. Roscoe.
Yeah.
Did you have this
Roscoe?
Did you have this driver dated a current Cup Series driver and a current NFL quarterback?
No, but I had one of the ones before Lizard was this random driver is heavily hated by most NASCAR fans. Lizard. Anyway,
I should have gotten that one. I let that one slip through my fingers. I'm frustrated.
That's okay. You got a bonus one you shouldn't have had anyways last week. So
and now let's go to NASCAR Coke 600 weekend and Indy 500 weekend after the Danica Patrick one.
By the way, in case it's not painfully obvious, we had people asking earlier. No, David Land is not on the show this week.
He's a busy man.
Busy bee. I saw him on TV after Indy 500 qualifying in the background.
Lurking.
I can recognize that purple microphone anywhere. All right, what we got, Danny?
Oh, this weekend, let me go ahead and get my forecast pulled up. I'm going to need that later. Or Vorcast, as Jeff Bork calls it. Going into the Charlotte Indy 500 preview weekend. So weekend notes, Timmy Hill will be in number 66, Garage 66 Cup car. Corey Heim is in the 67 Cup car for 2311 Racing. Catherine Legg in the 78 Live Fast Cup car, attempting the double. She'll be running the Indy 500 as well. Cole Custer will be in the number 0 for SS Greenlight Racing this weekend. Connor Zilish is in the 1 for JRM. Ross Chastain's in the 9 for JRM. Carson Quaff will be in the number 91 for DGM Racing. Brandon Jones will actually be racing in the number 1 Tricon truck. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is going to be in the 4 Nice truck. William Sawalich in the 5 for Tricon. And Kyle Busch back in the number 7, trying to go 2 in a row with Spire. And Ross Chastain will be in the 45 for Nice. SVG racing in the number 71 Spire truck this weekend. And Connor Zilich is actually replacing Carson Hocevar in the 77 for Spire this weekend in the Truck Series race. That move kind of came very much last minute.
Yeah.
The Cup Series race is, of course, the Coca-Cola 600. It's a 400-lap race. It's broke up 100 laps in stage 1, 100 laps in stage 2, a mid-race break, 100 laps in stage 3, and 100 laps in stage number 4. So perfect 100 every single time. That one's going to start at 6 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday, and it'll be, for the first time, on Prime. No longer a Fox race for them. You can also listen to it on PRN and Sirius XM Radio. The defending winner, kind of keep forgetting this. The defending winner is Ross Chastain of the last year's Coke 600. The IndyCar race is the 110th running of the Indianapolis 500. That's a 200-lap race. You can catch it at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern time on Big Fox and Fox 1. You can listen to it on IMS Radio Network. And the defending winner of this race is Alex Palou. He is starting on a pole, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken. The O'Reilly race is the Charbroil 300. It's a 200-lap race, broke up 45 laps each in stage 1 and 2, and 110 laps in stage number 3. That one's going to start at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern time on Saturday. You can watch that one on the CW. You can also listen to it on PRN and Sirius XM Radio. The defending winner of this race is William Byron. He's not racing in that one this weekend, so new winner guaranteed for that one. And the Truck Series race is the North Carolina Education Lottery 200. It'll be a 134-lap race. You can break it up into 30 laps in stage 1 and 2 and 74 laps in stage number 3. That one's going to start at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time on Friday, and you can watch it on FS1 and the Fox 1 app. You can also listen to it on the NASCAR Racing Network and Sirius XM Radio. And the defending winner is Corey Heim. He is not racing this weekend, so Corey Heim not going to defend this one. As for this weekend's weather, never a good sign, but Jeff Vork starts his message off with, unfortunately, Coke 600, unfortunately, a cold front makes its way into the Carolinas and stalls out. With abundant tropical moisture and no real progression of the front, coupled with daytime heating and plenty of disturbances riding the subtropical jet stream, expect scattered to numerous showers and thunderstorms at times. Sunday looks drier relatively, but one renegade cluster of storms will put a dent in the lower rain chances. For what it's worth, it will not be a total washout at all for the weekend, as the storms only have so much energy to feed off of, but backup indoor plans and toughing out delays will be the name of the game. Be mindful of typical thunderstorm dangers, including lightning and securing loose items for gusty winds. If rain sits over the same areas too long, flooding could be an issue both on property and off property on local roads. Stay safe, and I'm sure Prime won't use humidity as an excuse. As for the Indy 500, this wide-reaching system brings less, but still some impacts to Speedway, Indiana. Carb Day will be the most impacted with scattered showers and thunderstorms. Saturday brings more of the same to greater Indianapolis. Sunday brings some improvement, but isolated to widely scattered storms will be in play. Right. So Captain Leg may be in danger of doing a double there, it sounds like.
Yeah. Hate the weather. All right, what we got next?
We got pick points. Eric,
woo,
you're the leader, 224. Jarrett, wait, I'm sorry. Jarrett's -2. Why am I to chat and then?
Wait, the logo's mixed up.
Yeah, I got fucked up.
Okay, chat, you're me. Okay.
So who goes first?
You roll the dice.
Chat goes first. First pick, chat.
Yeah, chat. Who's gonna win the Truck Series race?
Sorry, just wanted to break the dead air.
Go faster.
Yeah, that's the problem when the chat goes first is we have to wait.
Looks like that was 77. I think 7 is starting to come into play. There's a lot of 77. We're going to pull it. 7 or 77.
Let's do it.
Take we're in a holding pattern until that gets decided.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to have to wait on that.
The 77 is Connor now.
Yeah.
But
Do.
The pollsters are trying to decide what they want to do. It's pretty even on my end, and it's pretty darn close.
Just gotta pull the plug.
And I'm gonna close my eyes and count to 3. 1, 2, 3. We're ending it now. Waiting for the results. Kyle Busch. They're taking Kyle Busch.
All right,
It's a shame that was my number 1 pick. So I'm going to go with Caden Honeycutt.
Damn.
Okay, all right.
Then I'll go with Ross Chastain.
Oh, really? So I could take the 77 if I wanted.
Yeah, if you want.
I guess I'll do that.
Has he ever won a Truck Series race?
He will now. This is his home track. I actually don't know. Has Connor won a truck race? He may not.
I don't think he's ever won a Truck Series race.
I had him third. I did have Ross as my second pick, though. So I was surprised you sniped that a little bit, but that's okay. I thought I was going to end up with Honeycutt or Lane Riggs or somebody. So,
Chat, O'Reilly Series win. Who do you guys have for that one? Got to wait on you.
O'Reilly. That's not their jingle.
Oh.
O'Reilly. Auto parts.
Couple for the 1, couple for the 7s. More than a couple for each of them. We might be having the poll 1 and 7, maybe.
I think it might be the 1. I'm seeing a lot of 1s.
There's a lot of 7s.
Are you pulling it, Danny, or are you just eyeballing it?
We'll just pull it for the fun of it.
Okay.
Wait for it.
This is
God, the audio audience has to be like, "Oh, for the love of God, just pick one."
Sorry. We're putting them to sleep.
This is an Eric East at Matt Kenseth poll 1 and 7 together.
Pick both. Choose both.
Oh, see, first we were thinking 1 might have been pulling ahead, but now that the 7's on the board for a poll, he's starting to look better in terms of that. That's why you sometimes got to pull it, even when you're not sure. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Bye-bye.
All right, Justin Allgaier.
The poll has decided they wanted Justin Allgaier.
So
both of those was my 1 and 2 picks, but thankfully they took my 2, and I get my number 1, Connor Zillage.
All right, then I'll go with my number 3, Brent Cruz.
I like that.
I'll take Corey Day.
That's a pretty good one.
All right. Chat, don't start saying Cup suck, because we actually got to say Indy 500 picks right now. And this is very important. How many points are this one worth, Jarrett?
Same as Cup race.
Same as a Cup
race. Oh, my goodness. Okay.
All right. So, chat, who do you got?
This is great that we don't know like any of the IndyCar drivers' numbers.
Well, I think they're making it pretty obvious they want Pelot. Which
yeah.
Give them Alex Pelot.
Yeah, that I could have seen that coming from a mile away. I'm pretty sure Helen Keller sees that coming.
I'm taking Pato Award.
I'll take Scott McLaughlin.
Oh, I get my number 1. Well, he wasn't my number 1 because I knew I knew Pelot wouldn't be available. Connor Daly.
Are you sure about that?
I'm thinking he started he's qualified 7th or 8th, right? 9th, something like that, somewhere in the top 10.
Okay.
Going crazy. We're gonna have Connor Daly go crazy.
Chat, who's gonna suck in the cup race this weekend, guys? And while we're waiting on you, I'll just say it's gonna be Bowman. The car looks great, but it's gonna drive like a tractor.
I'm gonna go Logano.
He's been running good lately. What?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Slogano or Laguner.
The chat actually agrees with you. They're all going Logano.
I mean, it's fair to pick a Penske car, and probably Joey. Joey's the most inconsistent.
It's funny how the chat just kept saying 22. They picked 22 to win Indy 500. Now they're also picking 22 to suck in the cup race. They just kept the same numbers basically.
All right. Underdog.
Chat, who do you got for your underdog? I'll just go ahead and say mine. It's going to be Eric Jones, actually, for me.
I'm going to go Bad Brad. I know he's not like an underdog for a top 10, but for a win.
Jared, we always take each other's underdogs and dark horses, man. All right.
Great minds think alike. Remember when you sniped me like 5 or 6 times last year for my win pick?
Yeah, I guess I'll go another Roush car. I'll go Chris Buescher as an actual threat to win. He's been good at the mile and a halves this year.
Chat, this is dangerous. You're saying 77 for underdog. I can get it, but you pick him for this. He's not an option to win, but I'm seeing way more 77. So got to give you Carson Hocevar for your underdog.
Yeah, there's a good handful of 77s in there.
So that just took him away as an option, for later. So
now who's your actual win pick?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That'd be a fun one.
I think they might be unanimous. I don't think they were ever thinking of going Hocevar for the win.
The thing on my end, it's slowing down, so I can't see.
It was all 11s, and then it was a bunch of 45s, and now it's all over the place.
It's still pretty much all 11, I think. There is some 45s, but not as many as 11s.
It's probably 11. I would agree. iTest says 11.
They're going Denny Hamlin.
Okay. All right. Well, he was my number 1, so wise choice.
Well, Hocevar was my number 2, but my number 1 is Tyler Reddick.
All right.
I'm going Tyler Reddick.
Then I know he struggled at points this year, but he's really good at Charlotte. William Byron.
Solid choice. I've got options, though, because my 2, 3, and 4 are still on the board. I'll go Chase Elliott.
Chase. When's the last time we've done a 600 without Larson as a pick?
That's a good point. It's probably been a year.
and in hindsight, should have been the last 2 years.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that should be fun. Let's get it.
Indeed. Let's get it. Really just got to get for the rest of these super chats, and we're good to call it a night. We appreciate everyone for your support. Again, y'all never have to give to the show, but you do anyways, and we greatly appreciate everyone for your support. Never feel any pressure to donate to us, but we always greatly appreciate everybody who watches us each week and donates to the show to give us a chance to keep doing what we do here and talk NASCAR with you guys week in, week out. Just can't thank y'all enough. We ended off with a couple of member chats, but we're going to pick back up with Pac-Mac 79 with the $5. Don't blame the track for position it was put in. The racing was good. The best cars could pass. Dover fans and track showed out. Bad format. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Agree on all fronts.
Stephen Gibson, appreciate the generous $20 from you, man. Fix All-Star, go back to Charlotte Motor Speedway, 100 laps, 45, 45, 10 under the lights. Mandatory pit under green at stage. 75 lap open. Winner makes it. Start the open at 3 or 4 p.m. Do a burnout competition. We need to open and All-Star intros. As much as I miss like the old school like pit crew competition during All-Star week, that burnout competition they did was always a lot of fun too, and I miss being able to have that as well. Blake Feynman, 5476, appreciate the $4.99. Love the Jeremy Mayfield shirt, Jarrett. Also, what are y'all's favorite Coke 600 of all time? I love Edwards subway scheme he won with in 2015. Man, as emotional as it is as a junior fan, the 2011 one just was such a roller coaster. Even though I wish Junior would have won that one. That one is definitely one of the better ones of the 2010s, in my opinion. SD Savage, appreciate the $5. Imagine if this was a points race, was the statement of the weekend. I think that's true. That's very true. Shadows of Man. My dad stopped watching NASCAR 15 years ago. He watched the last 3 weekends and the Iceberg and NWP shows. He is into it again, and we're going to New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Hashtag
Nice.
RTD.
Sweet.
That's cool.
Awesome. Welcome aboard.
Very nice. Have a good time. Rowdy 8 Diecast, appreciate being a member with us for 2 months, man. As a loyal Dover attendee, I just want a points race. Yeah. After me seeing at least this one on TV and having gone to the points race there last year, I think it's better off as a points race. JPG, appreciate it, $1.99. How about Darlington's first date as the All-Star? I don't think so.
Nah.
Fred Dog 81, appreciate $10. Idea for All-Star race: make the prize actually count. A mill doesn't go close to what it did 40 years ago. Make it a couple million more, or if the winner take all give only the winner a chunk of season points. Don't be giving points for it.
No, let's not do points, but we want to increase the money.
No,
for sure.
Hunter Nixon Fishing, appreciate the $4.99. Good to see you, man. Nothing against Jeff Burton, but I do feel he's a little overrated and borderline Hall of Fame. Should have been Biffle. Again, Biffle was still about 2 or 3 spots behind him, so the voting says otherwise. Rowdy 8 Diecast, appreciate another one from you. I went to the last 4 races. I can confidently say that Talladega was my favorite track, but Texas was the best race. 4 in a row was crazy though. LOL. Yeah, man.
Wow.
I've never done it. I've never done that many in a row. I've had some weeks of 2 in a row. I might have had a 3 in a row, but never a 4. That's insane. I know there's people who obviously have to go with the season, week in, week out. But I've not been fortunate enough to be in that situation before.
2021, I think it was like I went to 7 and 9 weeks, including a 4 in a row stint. Like wow. Yeah, it was like the end of the summer. So those 2 was also when we had the big Daytona trip, and I'm like, I'm just gonna stay an extra day, and I just did. It's like, screw it, I'm not gonna go if I don't have to.
That's awesome. It was good to see you at Texas as well. I didn't realize you were doing 4 in a row on different all corners of the country. That's a crazy trip, but glad you had fun.
Stephen Gibson, appreciate the $5. I will get hate for this, but I'm glad Biffle didn't make the Hall of Fame this year. Would have felt like they just gave it to him because he passed. Sorry, guys. I can get that. You don't want to feel like it's just pity.
Yeah.
Eric Andrade, appreciate the $5. Why no All-Star race planned for Chicagoland Speedway this year? I know they brought North Wilkesboro back for All-Star race. It was marvelous to watch.
I mean, I don't know.
It'd be a fun race.
It would be a good race. And they do have lights, so at least they could have made it a night race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will Griffin, appreciate the $5. Friday, Saturday was a 20 out of 20, but Sunday made the entire weekend a -11 out of 30. NASCAR really effed up the entire format, especially with qualifying being so important. Yeah, I go back to what was working before. That's just all I'll say about the All-Star race. That was not a good idea. Crazy John, appreciate the $5. I go to Michigan for a work trip for a few days and come back home to Jarrett's clean-shaven face, give me almighty jump scare.
Babyface.
Chris John, again, Fox races feel like they're made for people who fall asleep to their TV.
See, if this wasn't,
I fell asleep during a Fox race before, so
if this wasn't what I do for a living, I would drink a 12-pack of beer and fall asleep each week.
So I'm going to run a little impromptu experiment. So my wife, Amelia, she's not going to want me to say this, so I have to keep my voice down. She's known to nap during a lot of cup races on Sundays, or at least she has lately. She'll take a little nappy poo, and it's fine. It's all right. I'm sitting there. I'm working. I'm not really there to chit-chat. It's okay. I'm going to pay attention these next few weeks and see if if she naps during prime, or if the prime races somehow keep her awake. Like, what if there's something about these next few broadcasts that keep her? I'm just gonna watch and see if she's still nap prone or if she avoids the nap. I gotta keep my voice down. I'm gonna see if she does not nap, because if she's
give her a pass for the Coke 600 just because of how long and late it is.
Okay, all right.
If she's up past 500 miles, like that's impressive for someone who's not a diehard.
I'll report back in a few weeks.
I'm very interested. I'm invested.
I didn't even think about this till now, but I've I've noticed she's been. Anyway, okay, go on. Let's see if Prime can keep her awake.
I love it. Stephen Gibson, appreciates $5. Fox needs to also stop zooming in on the cars, randomly showing people who don't give an F in the stand. Stop showing only the leaders. Show racing. What do you mean? You don't. You got a problem with someone who just wants to zoom in or something like that? I mean, well, what's the big deal? I don't see any issue with it, for crying out loud.
I mean, they stopped showing as many kids in the stand, so I guess they fired Joseph Lombard.
Okay, moving on. Alex Luft, appreciate the $10 from you. Well, Eric, I see there's a Whataburger near the hotel I'm staying at in Mooresville when I go for North Wilkesboro. I'm going to try it, but don't be surprised if I troll you by saying Five Guys for life. Well, have fun spending the money on Five Guys. Good Lord.
I was going to say Five Guys probably is a better burger, but it's double the price.
If I want to pay Five Guys pricing for a burger, there's going to be some kind of good, tap house, high quality, big beef burger. I'll go spend that much on probably.
Not gonna lie, man. What a burger. That's my favorite. That's my favorite burger place now.
And we got
this is a huge development.
And we got In-N-Out being built here in our town.
Wow. All right. I'm happy to hear that, Jared. I'm not I'm a Texas guy, but I'm not diehard Whataburger. I think it's very good, but I hope you enjoy it, Alex.
To be fair, Jared, have you had Culver's yet?
Culver's is good.
Me? Wait, are you asking me?
Oh yeah, he's the Midwesterner. He basically birthed Culver's.
Danny, I
kind of forgot.
You're going to ask if I've had beefaroo or Portillo's.
Okay, Portillo's is good.
What about Big Boys? They get people really excited in Michigan.
Never had a chance to go to one here.
Jared, I never put that super chat back on the screen. I've never looked the comment, whatever. I put Rissa's comment back on the screen. I have never paid attention to her profile picture. I didn't freaking realize that's literally a doorknob with a bow tied onto it.
It is what she says it is.
It's exactly what she says it is. I've never noticed that until now. Okay, sorry. Let's move on. We got a lot to get to.
Yes, we do. JMT, I feel like Ryan Priest's fire lap 1 isn't being talked about enough. We legit didn't talk about it. I feel like that legitimately scared me. Haven't had a fire in cup like that in a few years.
Full fuel tanks, man.
The fire was scary. The hit was the scarier part. I mean, I hope he's doing all right. I mean, he walked away, but that'll shake you up for a while.
Yeah.
Jeffrey King says that it feels like Justin Allgaier is due again for a win. Of course he is. It's been a minute. He wins 6 or 7 a year, so. He also said the 2014 Coke 600 was my favorite as a Johnson fan.
It's a solid one.
I could see why.
It's a really solid one.
The actual zillionaire. Appreciate $10. Congrats again on 1K subs for the NWP channel. Gotta say though, as NWP's 1,000 subscriber, my only regret is not being your first. Here's the many thousands more.
Thanks, zillionaire.
Next time we get Connor on, make sure you're in the chat and we'll put you on screen so he can see. Because I need his reaction to that profile pic.
Yeah. Jeffrey King, appreciate it again. Could you see someone like Busch or Dylan win a 600? Well, they've both won it, so I've seen it.
Could see it again.
They actually won them in consecutive years. Austin Dillon won his in 2017, and Kyle Busch won his in 2018.
They've been faster lately. I'd be surprised, but it's not impossible.
Indy Carson, appreciate the $10 from you. Hey, NWP, Dover All-Star race Truck's best race of the weekend since it was old times with Rowdy Busch winning and whipping that field. O'Reilly, another memorable day for Corey beating the Gator. Stephen Gibson, appreciated $2. Sorry, Danny, 48 goes to Corey Day. Bowman goes to 21. I could be okay with 21. It's probably not going to, get him a win or anything, but I could be okay with that.
Can you do better than finishing last in the first 3 chase races?
I mean, potentially.
Potentially.
If he's healthy, because then that's worse because you're not even there.
Fair.
Jeffrey King, appreciate the $1.99 again from you. Nervous about my internet connection, but Prime, thumbs up. He also said Bowman goes to JRM 88 car and wins 5 races a year and titles. I would love that, but I don't see that being the direction he's going. He also said, could a 48 Celta Johnson and a number 25 return? That's a Legacy and Hendrick discussion.
I doubt it.
Yeah. Few more coming in from Indy Carson. Appreciate that. Cup. Hamlin again. Glad I spent my day napping and doing yard work in awesome weather. Indy 500. Glad Rossi is okay after that flip wreck in practice, but bad luck with stalled car and terrible wreck. And they also said that 2026 taught me don't vote for NASCAR Hall of Fame inductees daily since voting committee members don't care what you vote as a NASCAR fan. Yeah, I mean, hate to say that's kind of a meaningless vote because that doesn't count really towards what they're actually going to be putting in. Jeffrey King, the CW commentators cursed the 99. They did. They also said, Day also broke my heart and lap car to 7 had it.
I do think Justin would have won if he didn't get woed up there a little bit.
True. Indy Carson again with another $5. On a more important note, I can't wait to be at my 14th Indy 500 this weekend. NWP guys, you should make an Indy 500 on your bucket list in your future. I will one day. I keep saying I'm going to do it, but it just hasn't worked out. I will do it one year. It will not be this year, though, sadly. Jeffrey King, Decker casually setting her husband up to race. I mean, someone's got to get in there and pay the bills. Chris John, appreciate the $5. I strongly disagreed when Harvick said he has no sympathy for the Decker situation. And I'll strongly agree with him. I appreciated Harvick, keeping it straight with her. He didn't say any kind of no gender disparity. He kept it 100% with Decker, in my opinion. Another thing from Jeffrey King, Decker's car owner was like, please bring it in. Danica is greater than Leg greater than Tony greater than Deegan, and then they're all way better than Decker, he says.
They're all talking about this, how women get unfairly compared to each other. There we go.
Yep.
And imagine Decker in Chase Talladega race, LePaging the field. That would be awful. McCash, appreciate the $9.99 from you. Drop a little McCash on us here. Hey guys, wanted to say how much I enjoy your content. You guys cover the sport with passion and speak intelligently for the less outspoken base. Can't wait for NASCAR. Can't wait to NASCAR for decades with you guys. Yep. Hopefully it's still just the beginning, just getting started. There's, been plenty of new content creators still coming into the scene and, room for everyone to do their thing. But hey, we're still out here having a good time with each other.
We might need to get closer to the end of the night because Riss just sent me this.
We're getting there, Riss. We're getting there. I promise.
Thanks, McCash.
We literally don't have many more.
No, but thank you, McCash. That's really nice.
Thank you, McCash. C. Henry, appreciate it, $4.99. If Bowman doesn't retire, could we see a ride swap of Zilish in the 48 and Bowman in the 88 Trackhouse? I thought more of an idea if for any weird reason Bowman ended up at Trackhouse, just put him back in like the 99, bring that one back, but just remove the 48 altogether and bring Zilish and put him in the 88 with the Hendrick Dale Jr. font. just keep his number as is. Pat, appreciate the $5. Houston Tumlin was the guy who played Walker. He served in the Army and apparently was suffering from PTSD. And sadly, he passed away. Austin
Well,
Bland,
like more of
to know that.
dick. I feel like more
How
of
are
a
we
dick
supposed
now.
to know that, man?
Yeah. Austin Bland said, appreciate it, 999. Here's my case for Chastain getting to 48. He's built Trackhouse. He reminds me of Ernie Irvan. He had a similar rep Ross did prior to rookie year, and he got to his rookie year and when stacked up. Or sorry, I'm saying that as rookie year. That's Robert Yates Racing. I'm reading that wrong. RYR. He got the Robert Yates and when stacked up. I think Ross would win big. I just don't think that one's going to happen. Mofo Prada. Appreciate it, 999. Regarding Harvick's nomination, the standard was set when JG only got 96% of the vote in 2019. No one should be shocked that Jimmy Johnson or Kevin didn't get a unanimous vote after the voters did the same thing to Jeff Gordon. That's fair.
Yep.
Fred Dog, appreciate the $5. Biffle Burton. For goodness sake, the Neil Bonnet disrespect is real. Get him in. He had impact on and off the track too. Yeah, I think we kind of hit on that. We definitely think it's a little past time for Neil Bonnet. Austin Blanchett, is Frank Kimmel in the Hall of Fame? If not, then he should be. If Burton is in for his behind-the-scenes contributions, and why isn't Ernie Irvan in? Yeah, Ernie Irvan's definitely an interesting one to keep in mind for that. Frank Kimmel, since NASCAR did buy out, ARCA, I think eventually that, career of his in ARCA will catch up. I think there might be a spot for Frank Kimmel in the Hall of Fame one day. Just the priority of getting him there is going to be taking a minute. Chris John, I'm a little surprised that Ryan Newman hasn't been considered to be a nominee for Hall of Fame. Maybe one day. He had a decent career. If anything, something, paying respect to how good he was at qualifying has to come into play there too. Alex Left, appreciate the $5 for the Pioneer ballot. I would nominate Marshall Teague. That's a good one. Austin Blanchett, Dr. Jerry Punch for NASCAR Hall of Fame 2027. That's an interesting one too to think about. Stephen Gibson. Sorry, it glitched out on me. Watching out for Austin Hendrick this weekend. I feel he could sneakily get a top 5 or a win, or as we like to call him, Austin Condrick. APC, Chase Elliott finally gets his crown jewel win. That would make Eric happy. You picked him, right?
I did. I'll take that.
Alex, you hear about PM Pierre Marquette, number 1225, pulling revenue freight. I did see the video of that. That was pretty cool. That's a classic steam engine. It was actually out pulling a freight train. Had a caboose on it too. Napa Racing Fan, rate both Denny ads 1 through 10. They are both 10s for me.
11.
Yeah.
Well played.
Alessandro, cool to be back a part of one of these episodes once again. I do not have time anymore since my second job during the evening and night hours. Cheers to the three of you. Cheers to you, Alessandro. Power Freedom Chefs. And keep it tuned in whenever you can, man. Chris John, my dad falls asleep to TV, if that says anything. Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's dad is guilty of that.
I've actually started doing it more in the last year, and I'm like, maybe it's just a thing. Maybe it's a dad MK Ultra thing.
Ryan Idius realized the AI at the start probably got confused between the Winston Million that was offered for winning crown jewel races back then and the All-Star race. Yes, I think that's where it gets itself confused. Alex Left, Jeffrey, prepare Mr. Estep's couch for him. I think that's in regards to
my experiment that I'm running.
Yeah, I think so.
Keep your voices down.
To Eric's point, women do love Prime. They love shopping on it, that's for sure. It's okay, man. I'm just as guilty as Claudia sometimes. So,
Mrs. Baldwin, get the couch ready.
Credit card debt. It's on Prime.
Hey, to my defense, Eric, y'all got a couch. If I'm ever in trouble, we at least got a guest room.
That's true. That's true. I barely fit on that couch.
Indy Carson. I went to 6 Cup races in 3 months in 2024, but if you add IndyCar and NHRA, 10 races from the end of April till the end of August due to Truex Jr. retiring. But hey, that was your guy, though. You had to make sure you were there for it.
Yeah. Pretty sweet.
Whataburger supremacy. Eating it now. Go 12. Oh, the irony.
Don't tempt me. Don't tempt me.
Denny and Polo suck. Don't lump me with the chat. Well, sorry, Will Griffin. You're part of them. That's the life you've chosen.
Are they part of the chat though?
Apparently, I am the chat.
I am the chat.
Actually, watched that combination of yesterday and finished it today.
Fell asleep watching watching TV.
No, had it on outside cooking dinner, and then turned it off before coming back inside and didn't finish it till today. Snappy finally tried Raising Cane's this weekend. Great chicken, no doubt, especially for fast food, but not the best. Sauce was mid. Sauce makes it.
What? This is the first I've ever heard someone say the chicken is the best part.
But they say the sauce makes it.
That's a surprising take. Just goes to show everyone's got different tastes.
Very true.
I don't like any of it.
NASCAR News 6. Appreciate $5. Iceberg knows me from his post-race live streams. I happened to turn on NWP. You guys were talking about Barry.
Sorry, buddy. Oh, you got the thong car on. Look at the hood. That's what it looks like on the current car.
Cheeks.
Ross Crash Sane, appreciate $5. Has anyone else noticed how Fox, but Mike Joy specifically, sounds surprised every time they mention Alex Bowman, especially when he's running well? How about Alex Bowman? And Austin Blanchett, Helio for 5 Indy 500s and a 9 win the 600.
Much love.
Oh,
I'd be cool with this. I'd be cool with the second part of that statement.
Napa Racing fan, vote Norm Benning for the NASCAR Hall of Fame. It's coming one day, Jarrett.
I approve that.
Stephen Gibson, appreciate $5. Just a bit more for you in honor of Beast of Metal, since that dude sends like $200 every NWP, and I didn't see him this week. Well, thank you for honoring him, Stephen. And I will say y'all been very generous. Y'all have more than made up for what the idiot in the fishing tournament costed me by weighing his fish that he shouldn't have weighed in. So that y'all have helped boost my my bad mood from earlier this week. Thank y'all. Indy Carson, appreciate $10. I attended a Coke 600 in 2014, and like another fan said, it was worth it. However, my favorite Coke 600 is 2016 when Martin Truex Jr. squashed the field with Sheriff Pollock still by his side. That was an absolutely incredible Coke 600.
That was, I mean, in the moment, you're like, oh my God, it's so boring. Someone's leading. Then you look back and you're just like, that was an incredible performance. And then
2 years later, Kyle Busch basically did the same thing in 2018 when I was there. There were stages involved, but he basically did the same thing. Elijah, appreciate the $5. Have y'all seen those YouTube shorts? Political figure puns in the Cars universe. My favorite car puns are Kim Jong-broom, Mao Zedong, and Joseph Stalling. I haven't seen those per se, but I could understand the humor in that.
Don't ask what the Volkswagens were doing in the 40s.
Alex Luft, appreciate the $5. Now I'm thinking I am the chat in the tune. Oh, sorry. I am the chat in the tune of I Am the Law by Anthrax. But that's where we end it. And it's been a long show. Gosh, it's nearly 10 o'clock our time.
Yeah.
Appreciate everyone hanging out.
Yep. Thank y'all for bearing with us. Catch us next week. We're going to be on Eric Estev's YouTube channel, and we'll be we're going to be previewing Nashville Super Speedway. Sadly, I won't even be there for that one this year, but it's going to be a good time. talk about what happened this weekend next week. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Drivers, start your engines!
Be plenty of carnage. Full head on them. Wound up. Yeehaw, boys. Holy. It's a junkyard. Spend too much time hitting people. Chill a second. No gas, gotta hang off here. Don't overdrive. Just let me do my job 2 times. I don't care if I wreck the whole field. I'm over him. He's just a moron. That was an absolute bullshit. Not clear. Awesome. I tell you, Mama ain't raised no. What the fuck are you doing out here?